that's so exciting, and it's so amazingly attractive.
Yeah, you're not laughing now, are you?
Oh, from the smoke, he rises like some kind of underwaxed Icarus. Used to have a joke up at the Arsenal, me and the mate. He's a very good friend of mine now, and he's also a financial advisor. Like properly, he's done all his certifications and that. It's a cushy job, I tell you that. And this is from his mouth, these words. Don't worry, people. I'm not going to ramble for ages because I've just finished a day's work. It's 1 o'clock in the morning here, so I'll get on to this. I forgot to put call in on the thing, but we'll be getting guests on. Packer, is Packer about? Is Packer in the chat? I haven't even had a chance to have a look. Let us know if you're in, Packer, and let us know if you're up for joining me. Obviously, no obligation whatsoever. But yeah, people expect it. Hello, you're here. Are you up for it, Packer? So this is something quite interesting that I'm just going to tell the OGs, because it's probably you lot, the OGs, in early. I know I'm fucking hell. Am I that late? Am I 9 minutes late? Nice one, Packer. I'll give you the link. Let me know when you've got it. Hello, Henry. How are you, son? I'll tell you this, because I saw because anyone who signed up to free trade used my link, we both got a free share. Now they say they're between £3 and 300 quid. Well, I got a few because of YouTubers, people, obviously scrubs, but most of them were like 3 or 4 quid. Two of them have appreciated to over $200. That ain't bad for nothing, which means if the scrub who got that site, because you get the same free share each, that you'll have that as well. So someone here might know who I'm talking about. Cheers, Packer. Now, how do I do this? There you go. Now, I just want to quickly say something, because I do know there's still a lot of scrubs. I get tough. He's absolutely remembered Bad Eye. Oh, Bad Eye. All right, Picard, a little bit dark there. You can remain dark, though, if you wish. You can remain dark. Now, listen, I have got to just say something about long-term index investing, which I know there's still about 40 scrubs doing. Now, I don't know at what level you're at. We started getting into this, nearly 3 years ago now. So if you've done your due diligence and checked out the S&P and all that, with the likes of Meta, Nvidia, which is the most anomalous stock in history, no stock has ever grown like Nvidia. Not just the speed, but the rate, but also the value, the market cap. I mean, for a couple of days, it was the biggest company in the world. Now, if I told you Microsoft was, you'll be like, yeah, I can imagine. If I told you Apple was, but if I said to you Nvidia, Packer, do you know what Nvidia is? There you go, not a Danny. And that, I understand that. I wouldn't expect you to. But it's not only have they got all of those massive growth, but not only have they grown hugely, it's something like 9,000. I think it's 200% in the last year. And then something ridiculous like 9,000 in the last 4 years. It's something like that. But, if you put $1,000 on that with the compound interest, you'll probably be looking at like 15 grand for just leaving $1,000 sitting there. Anyway, I was talking to my mate. Oh, I was going to tell you about the joke. So when you're watching your own team and you're winning 3-0 against a team you hate, which is most of the others, you tend to have a little bit of sort of dirty little secret respect for a few teams. You know, I like Bournemouth. You know, I think they're a good team. I like Brighton. I like the way they're managed. You know, anyway. But so I can remember it was Giroud, and Giroud has also been a male model, and he looks it. You know, imagine. I mean, look at life's lottery. He's a professional football player, plays for France, played for Arsenal, looks incredible. Proper athletic body. Anyway, he done this little sort of flick. It was one of the classic Arsenal goals. Like all first touch, bosh, 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 Jack Wilshere goal. And all the opposition players, they didn't even have time to move. When you're doing one touch football, what can you do as a defender? You just watch him pass it, and as you're about to move, it's already pinged somewhere else. As they're all running, so it wasn't that goal, but Giroud scored, and as he's running, my mate next to me, now I don't remember verbatim, but you'll get the idea. My mate next to me went, he's just like a supreme being, isn't he? And, you know, we had good seats on the centre line, 5 rows behind the cameras. So you can see at what a good seat that is, because if the cameras are there, they put them in the best place. And I said, it's ridiculous, isn't it? I went, look at his quads. Now, your quads, hang on, let me just pick up my spare leg. Now, your quads, I can't lift my spare leg up any further than that. That's quite a calf, though. Your quads are here. Your quads. How do I do this without anus? they're the front of your thighs, because there's 4 muscles there.
His quads were the bit just above his testicles in that shot there.
They were the flesh arrow to my arse. Right, anyway, if you're an athlete, especially a footballer, your legs tend to be pretty defined. And he's downright, 20 metres away going, yeah. And I've said after my mate's gone, he's like a ultimate specimen or something like that. I went, look at those quads, right? So at that point, we both know we've overstepped the homosensual line, and we both know it. But rather than call it, it's just build it up. But build it up, but without sort of, if you overdo it, it's rubbish. If you just sort of go, he's beautiful, game over. So it's right. About, you get it, Packer? You understand what I'm saying?
It's like a game of bogeys. You can't just shout bogeys.
You're really loud. You're really loud. I don't know whether it's your talking or your microphone, but
what am I talking? You never played bogeys?
No, I haven't played bogeys. Go on.
Right, so you're somewhere, a church.
Hang on a minute. Anyone new here? It's always like this. I was about to make an excuse. This channel's. Hang on a minute. Stars in their eyes. Griftertron go. John Fuse has dropped an Ayrton Senna. I'll read that out, John, because I am going to get into the theme of this after Packer's told us about a game of bogeys.
Yeah, one of you says bogeys, and you have to reply bogeys, but a bit louder.
I
have to say bogeys, but a bit louder.
Like if you're in class.
Yeah, until someone gets heard saying bogeys.
I think I've told you this before. Our one was when they read the register, instead of saying, like, so what they'd sort of go, Dangerfield, and you had to go, sir. You meant to go, yes, sir. But you didn't, did you? You just went, sir, and then it go, Johnson, sir. Now, our one was to say, zer, right? Very subtle. But the teachers were onto it, and we even had an assembly about it, man. Our headmaster was properly mad, though. Like, really, when I had my the everyone's parents had to come up and talk to the headmaster in the 4th year. So I was about 14, I suppose. And he was rocking on his chair, this mad. He killed someone in a hit and run when he left his job. Yeah, didn't go to prison either. Yeah, I think he had the old funny handshakes on side. But we had an assembly about it. But so it'd sort of go Evans, the. Now, as a tutor, as a teacher, you can't call that. That's, so, and then someone else would be sort of be like Booker, the, and then sort of look up. Same as bogies, really. But excuse me, when it was just the ultimate moment to have an assembly that wasn't at the usual time, different teacher on stage, and he said, right, he was like, it's a shame that we're having to waste the time of people who want to be learning. No one in that school wanted to learn. No one in that school wanted to teach.
Oh, what do you mean?
Yeah, exactly. And he went, but it's time we stopped this nonsense with the register. And he done everything he could to try not to say it, but he knew he had to in the end. He said, in this school, the rules are when your name's called out, you say, yes, sir. And everyone was just sitting there thinking, go on. He said, it's not a time to mess around. He said, it's serious. He said, if there's a fire, everyone thinking, yeah, sir, you still get ticked. If there's a fire and you're not on the register, you could burn to death. Oh, right. Is that dangerous, is it? Changing S for Z. Okay. And he kept going. And then right at the end, the whole school just waited. And he went, and if we catch anyone saying the, the whole place just went up. It just exploded. Everyone was cracking up. And he was going, quiet now. And everyone was cracking up. And because 2,000 kids, Packer, when we had one of those assemblies, the assembly hall was massive anyway, but they had these huge sort of folding, like, what do they call them? What's that?
Bifold.
Is that what it is? No, what's that? What's that instrument?
Accordion.
Yeah, sort of accordion doors. They'd open those up and you had the canteen, so you could get the old school in. And that's when it, and because everyone's really laughing, you've then got cover to be going, Zah! And then everyone would be cracking up and someone else over there would go, Zah! And what a backfire. It was beautiful, man. Beautiful. Anyway, right. I'm only going to be doing about an hour and a half, maybe even an hour. This concussion's I've had all sorts of, I'm not moaning, I'm just explaining, not excuses, just explaining. And I keep saying weirdly the wrong thing. Like I've got 2 customer service agents off sick, and I'm not good at that job. And trying to be nice to someone, you wake up in the morning, sunny day, right, I better get the customer service done first, which is like 5-6 hours job. It's a full-time job that I've got 3 people doing, but 2 of them are off, so I'm doing it. And and as soon as I open that thing, it's called Fresh Desk. That's the platform we use. If you sign up, tell them I told you, I might get 10% or something. First message, you fucking scamming cunts. And you're just like, oh, come on. Next one, oi, shit for brains. And you're just like, oh, man. Nature of customer service, most people have got a problem. They're not writing to you to say, hey, thanks, everything's good. Nah. But it's quite interesting. Do you remember that secret boss or mystery boss? Like the CEO of Subway would work as a cashier or something at Subway. And just be horrified at the way, you'd have some bloke there going, to be honest with you, they say just put 1 squirt of this juice in, but, stick 4 or 5 in. People love it, when it's just full of chemicals. And that CEO's thinking, 5 squirts of that, 5,000 shops, 2,000 of those sold a week. That alone is costing him 20 grand a year. Move on to the next bit, and then amazing at the end of the week. Well, I've been slightly deceptive. I'm not the new trainee. I'm actually Hugh Whittenstall. Who the fuck's that? I own this company, and they still don't get it. Yeah, like you fucking do.
Did they do a British one, or is it you talking about the American one?
I don't remember. It was a long time ago, but I did.
I remember there was definitely an American one, and occasionally they would find someone that was really good at their job.
Yeah,
who was also having a hard time. And
that's
they
it.
And then in the end, and say, "Oh, we're going to put you through college and give you your own shop or something."
That's it. And they had like a really bad manager, and who was really nasty to someone, but that someone was doing it all right, really trying. And then the boss would like fire the manager, put the person who was getting all the hassle through manager training. And businesses get too big to do that on the regs, but they really should. I remember I was working in Pizza Hut and robbing them blind. At the end of every shift, I'd fill my bag. Like, you'd make a few pizzas. Everyone nicked pizzas, but I don't think they mind. A pizza cost them about a penny. But they had these like lemons and oranges, a real lemon and a real orange that they'd scraped out and made lemon. You can hear my voice. Or a terrible week I've had. And they'd make sorbet out of it and stick it back in. And, 20 of them every day, every shift I worked. I just took the piss out of the place. And in fairness, most of the other staff who worked there were quite dirty, the way they presented themselves. Like one bird had a dirty bandage on her hand. Now,
they're always good in a food service place, aren't they?
Yeah. But, when it goes grey, nah, man, that needs to be at least 5 meters away from anything going in my mouth. I can't. It's like I had some brass at the Edinburgh Festival once, and when she turned over, she had a plaster on her back. During the action, half of it came off and it was flapping, and whatever the fuck it was underneath, it looked like I don't know what it was. It looked like it was alive but dead. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Do I get a discount for that fucking ganglion on your back you didn't tell me about? Anyway, so Packer, thanks for joining me. Always a pleasure. People, I'll just outline the grift. You can donate by hovering your phone camera over this that Packer's about to show you. So close. There you go. That in the top right, and it will give you a link, and that will take you to buy me a coffee. If you do that, you get a video reply, and thanks to the people that did on the last video, because it's quite fun doing the video replies. Super chat down the bottom and entropy up the top of the chat. Super chat at the bottom of the chat. I do like to get donations because I think it's justified, the amount of effort I put into streaming, and that's all right. And you're a very generous crowd, and that's why 9 years on, I'm still here. Right, that's all the housekeeping out of the way. I'm going to have to drink some water because the nodules are going, but hopefully it won't be me doing most of the talking today. Here's my premise. Here's my hypothesis. No, thesis. Premise. Stick with the first one. I think I've noticed people over the last sort of 5 or 6 years everywhere, not just like people close to me, not just people in this country, not just people who are poor, not just people who are rich. It would appear there's some kind of misery virus, and I'm using virus poetically there. I think people, I think people have been, the numbers show that people aren't as happy as they were 30 years ago. And that doesn't just mean people who've got older, 16-year-olds 30 years ago are not as happy as, were happier than 16-year-olds today. There's been plenty of surveys and shit. Go and check that out if you want. But I feel like I've seen it exponentially over the last sort of year and a half, 2 years. So I want to put it to you, Scrubs. Let's take a general. I'll ask Packer in a minute, and then I'll do that super chat. But Scrubs, let me know in the chat with a 1. I mean, you can put a 1, and then you can put a comment explaining it later if you want. But just to starters, have you noticed a kind of exponential decline in people's general sense of peace and happiness over the last couple of years? Packer, what's your take?
I haven't noticed, and I've got an incredible sense of peace and happiness. I'm very blessed.
So you haven't noticed it with friends or anything? If I said to you,
a lot of people had a shit time during COVID, and as a consequence thereafter. So that's kind of brought the tone down a bit.
But you wouldn't say nothing. With that example, you've got a reason. I mean, I think post-COVID was possibly worse than COVID in a way, because
and the country's generally getting in a shittier and shittier state. So people are going to start noticing.
And also, I think that's when they were dishing out money like nobody's business during COVID. There was a lot of memery, but the effects of it, the effect it had on the populace was kind of the year after, really. And loads of people suddenly thinking, hang on, did the government lie to us? I
mean, everybody knows the government lies. They always promise. Well, they always promise they're going to close the tax loopholes, don't they? Well, we're definitely going to close. They always say that, and 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 the recent one, the favourite one for the last 30 odd years, is stop the boats, and they get in, and they don't. Obviously.
Yeah, I think what they don't understand is a loophole. You've got you can close it, but then they'll find another one. That's what a loophole is.
Try and close it. It'd be nice.
Yeah, but if you've got, they
don't do what we want. I mean, now with the COVID thing, we've had all our lives of the government saying we ain't got money for this, we ain't got money for that, we ain't got money for this, we ain't got money for that, we ain't got money for this. You can't have that. You can't have that. We ain't got any money. Yeah. And then COVID. Oh, who wants £6 million to make paper masks that we're going to throw in a skip in a year? Oh, my friend does.
I mean,
all of a sudden the money's there. When they want it for something, do you want £8 million a day to put people up in hotels? Yeah, sure. Here you go.
Well,
never was there a penny to get people off the streets sleeping rough. Never enough money for that. No, £8 million a day for people that have never lived here.
And then you've got word is that there's British troops in the Ukraine. There's American troops in the Ukraine. Did I say this the other night? Apparently, Rishi Sunak called a general election, and I quote, because he didn't want to be a wartime prime minister. What a pussy. If you're a prime minister and something like that's on the horizon, surely that's what your life's about. Right, here we go. This is it now. Not, oh, fucking hell, I've helped my friends enough. It's time to dodge this one. Yeah, and apparently there are already British and American troops and weapons, but there's some weird Geneva Convention. Don't quote me on these details, but there's a way around it if you're training people that aren't actually fighting. I mean, they fight afterwards,
Yeah.
but it means we're not at war with Russia. We're just training
British
them.
troops walk up to their troops and say, "This is a tank. This is one of our tanks. This is how you use it. Off we go."
Yeah, and it is a couple of $1 billion worth of missiles, and yeah, it's like we go. I've got to get Horus on for this no government stream. The government is a gang whose main role is to put public money into private pockets, and it does it exquisitely, and we just keep giving it to them. And the funny thing is, and I only say funny because it's farcical, if you don't, they put you in prison. Give us your money that you've been working for, because we want it. And we've set up all these little schemes, which means we can get it into our mates' bank accounts. And then you're like, hang on a minute, I'm fucking knackered. I've got children to feed and everything's getting more expensive. The petrol's gone through the roof because the American president decided he was going to buy oil instead of sell it. Nah, sorry, mate, you got to go to prison or give me 20 grand plus interest. It's so cuntish. Excuse me, C-bomb. That's not very nice at all. Thank you for the super chats that have come in. I assume they are. They might be memberships. Let's see what Johnny Boy says. Hello, John. Everyone's so angry at the moment. I was on the receiving end of some mad road rage last night. It was only verbal, but it did shake me up a bit. I can't lie. I hope you're well, fella. I am well, John. There are a few things I'd rather be different. But you get things into perspective, and I'm seeing some of them. I talked about it the other day as potential. Sometimes things forcing change on you can be seen as a good thing. I might be a full-time YouTuber stroke writer in a couple of years or a year. I mean, it's unlikely because, I'm pretty good at what I do, but you can be as good as you want. But in the market we've got at the moment with behemoths like Amazon, there's only so much marketing you can do. But that might be the best thing that could have ever happened to me. It will be frightening, but I'll be a full-time writer and I'll be making videos every day. Not live streams every day, but videos every day. Get back to the Dragon's Den, stuff that other people want, because that. So that's actually. So anyway, I focused on the bit about me. How unlike me. But I know what you mean about. I don't believe in road rage, but I know you only used it. It's just someone being angry. They happen to be in a car. But yeah, no. Someone gives you some mouth, it can shake you up. It's like, oh fuck me, I didn't want that. A nice one, John. Appreciate that, Ayrton Senna. Dawn Browning. How's your father? He's all right. Thanks for the super sticker, Ms. Browning. What time is it there? VC drops a lady. Nice one. In his message on here, it says AM. But let me try that one again. I don't know if you typed AM, but it says it on there. Our Lord knows what that's about. And then Dawn Browning's dropped an Ayrton Senna straight after her super sticker. And she said, we got duped. Nah. They are the kings of dupage. Dupage is lovely. Lovely to see you, Dawn. What time is it over there? Oh, Dawn's V's up by the aeroplane. Right, I'm going to put the invite in the chat. It's one person at a time, and I'm going to say it now. When I say, all right, I'm getting shot of you, it'll only be a few minutes. because I want to get some new people on. I want to get some different people on. If people don't come on, then you can come back on and we can have some more time. But you know, I don't want it to end up being me, Packer, and one person who comes on a lot for the next hour, because I want to hear some different opinions on this. So thank you everyone there for dropping those super chats. I'll keep me entropy, and I'll keep me buy me a beer open on the off chance. In fact, but
It's
thank
4:30 where Dawn Browning is.
What time? 4:30 a.m.
I assume so.
She's up feeding those cows and all that homestead lark. No, it's not homestead. Well, small holding.
Lifting up chickens.
She's got a lovely thing going. Sometimes I look at her videos and like she's grown all this lovely fruit and vegetables, and amazing, really. I think when me and the missus said to me yesterday, like, me and my girlfriend got engaged 6 years ago. It's our anniversary this Saturday, 6 years. And although I'd already got her an engagement ring, yesterday I got down on one knee. Caught her right off guard as well. She was just finishing cleaning her teeth. Well, we'd just finished something else. She needed to clean her teeth, you know what I mean? Yeah, dirty. And she turned around and I'm down on one knee, and she started crying, and she had put out her hands in. She was shaking. And because she was cleaning her teeth, like washing all her makeup off, her tons of put more of that on, scraping her foundation off. Her ring was already off, so I'd already taken the ring away, and I was on one knee, and she fucking, she went crazy. And I said, darling, will you marry me? And she just went berserk. It was so little for me to do, but she absolutely loved it. So that's planned before Christmas. And also, well, I won't go into that bit of it because it takes the romantic edge off it. But I was thinking the other day, if I was to get hit by a car or something, I don't have a lot, but she wouldn't get any of it. What's she going to do? Ring up England? Hello, is that England? Okay, bye. So it makes things a bit easier were I to die.
Emma G wants to know if you need to be shirtless to come on to call in.
Well, you can if you want.
We can make an exception for Emma, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to go there. Well, I do want to actually, but that's why I don't. But yeah, feel free. Feel free. Bring some friends if you want. I'm quite happy to jettison Packer if I need the space. I'm sure he'll understand that. Right, let's get the
LC350 wants to have we're invited to the wedding.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you something, right? So me and all my cousins have got a WhatsApp group just so that we can stay in touch and that. My brother's on it as well. About 4 months ago, I got on there, and we don't talk every couple of weeks someone will say something, usually family stuff, but occasionally a meme or a video, And I've gone on there about 3 months ago, and I went, right, everyone. I said, a bit of good news for you. I'm marrying my child bride. I said, now listen, a Cambodian wedding is a 3-day affair. It ain't. It can be. But I said, it's a 3-day affair. I said, but my mate is going to lend me his jet. So you don't have to pay for the flights. He's going to take you to Phnom Penh. He's my best man. It is in the provinces though, so you'll have to sleep in the provinces, and there's no hotels or anything. Oh yeah, I really laid it on, really serious. I said,
bring your best suit and your wellies.
There are snakes and tarantulas, but Cambodians have survived out there for centuries. Just all this sort of nonsense. and I didn't even let them know it was a lie by the end of it. I was just like, I would like to see you all there, and the kids, like my cousin's kids. I said, it's all sorted out. I said, the food's a bit weird. What they do, they stuff a living goat. It's sort of like foie gras of a goat. Just sort of playing on stereotypes of Cambodian food. I said, there might be dog on the menu, but you have to respect a different culture. And it was about a 5-minute just nonsense. And I could imagine they were sitting there going, oh my fucking, what are we going to do? How are we getting out of this? They all would have been thinking that for sure. I give them a few days and then just got back to them saying, yeah, come on, you idiots. I wouldn't want you at my fucking wedding anyway. You'd probably shoot someone. Right, let's get the invite into the chat and see if anyone would like to come on and talk about the general sense of the happiness, sadness meter. The happiness, sadness meter. Hello, Doc Shelley. Good to see you, son. John, I've got an email. John, did I reply to your email? I've certainly written it, but I don't know if I've finished it. About the vehicles. I won't go into too much, but did I actually send it? The link's in the chat, people. I mean, you can come on if you've come on before. I'm not saying that at all, because it probably will be people who've come on before. Who's the fellow who comes on and sometimes... Browning's keeping the grift going like a beagle. Live stream Scrubs wedding. OMP can be the MC. Who's OMP?
Open Mike Packer.
Where did you get that from? Is that another stream?
No, that's what she calls me.
Oh, okay. I was thinking, this is really embarrassing. I don't know it. And it's going to be someone who comes to every single stream.
I've got a special name that Dawn's give me.
Oh, does that make it? That's quite nice. So it's nice when it's organic like that. Well, if anyone wants to come out for the wedding, we will be having a little do, but you'll have to come to the province, and pretty much everything I just told you, it ain't far from the truth. When you want to have a shower, yeah. But yeah, sure. I'll tell you what, if Dawn Browning and Master Ben rocked up to my Cambodian wedding, it'd be one of the most surreal and wonderful things of my life. Thank you, Dawn. That's lovely. And we've got OMP, Open Mike Packer, on the firm. I'll put the link in again. No takers just as yet. Not a problem. I can talk for England. So what about the old Farage thing? Have you seen the left trying to smear him? It's incredible.
Apparently there's just been a poll that says he might get 18 seats.
I tell you,
hilarious.
Yeah. And he, I think he's the sort of person, and the likes of the people in Reform, they'll make use of those seats. They won't just sit around going, one of my constituents is complaining there's too much dog poo on the streets. They'll be screaming at those crazy opposition. What I want to see, I'd love to see loads of seats, but it's the vote. What I'd love to see is a Marxist government, which is essentially what we're going to get, but with a vote barometer showing that the other half of the nation are right wing, well right of centre. Well, and that what a position to be in, because to me that says the next election, and I think Farage is clever enough to probably find someone to take the prime minister job off him in 5 years. Do you know what I mean? And Farage be more of a, oh bollocks, what was the name of Trump's right-hand man in the first election. Incredible political brain.
I can't remember him.
He stopped working for him afterwards, but he's got an amazing political brain. And he said to her, there we go, Al Mac doing the music. I think unless Al can knock out some Cambodian tunes, I don't know whether they'll necessarily be up for that. A bit of Sin Sisamuth. Pardon, Packer?
Was it Bannon?
Yeah, Steve Bannon. Exactly that.
Bannon Smith. Nice one.
I think Farage will probably take the Steve Bannon advisory role and spend the next 4 years finding someone to lead the party. It's conjecture. I'm basing it on very little. John says, Dangerfield, I've not checked my emails yet. Found your videos about Leashy, so I'm doing my own work. Well, I don't know if I've actually sent it, but I can tell you now. I can tell you everything you want to know about Leashy lockpicks. I'm a master of them. But transponders and all that, it's such a big investment because there's not one bit of software that will do all cars. So you need to buy like 10 different machines and they're like $5,000 a pop. There's a lot of money in vehicle locksmithing, but you need a lot of money to set up. It's simple as well. You can learn to use a leashy pick in an hour.
I locked my keys in my truck the other day.
What? You shut the door on them?
Yep.
Deadlocked?
I'd gone in there looking for something with them in my hand, and whilst looking, I'd put them down, and locked them in. Got them out with a coat hanger.
There you go, the old classic. Hello, David. Hello, David.
All right. Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. How do I pronounce your surname? Is it McClin? Let me get this right. McGlinchy.
That's the one. Yeah.
Do people ask you that, or am I just not very clever?
No, I think you have previously, but yeah, it's a bastardization of McGloinshire, which is like son of the longship, I think, in Gaelic or something. But yeah.
Oh, hang on a minute. This incredible heritage is just dropping in there. Amazing. So go for it. What
his name means came off the boat.
Does it?
Hang on. I've got a bit of lag on the system. Give me 2 seconds.
Oh, apologies.
Son of a longship.
You should be listening on StreamYard. You know that, though, don't you? Is there still a lag?
Yeah, hang on. Give me a second, lads. I'm just going to kill off some stuff.
Not a problem. I'll talk to Packer while you're doing that. And when you reckon you're ready, you get back to us. We've seen Keir Starmer boxing, haven't we? I've shown you that video when he's just on the bag when he's just.
No, I can't. I've not seen that. I can't believe I haven't seen it.
Oh, I'm sure I showed it on this channel.
John Palmer wants him to take his top off.
You're all right. If John wants to, if David wants to,
take your top off, John.
Yeah, I'll take mine off one day. This is actually a skin tight t-shirt. I'll take it off. I'm African.
Yeah, I'm back in the land of the living, I think.
Right, nice one. Hang on, Roy. I only have one person on at a time, but there'll be plenty of time, so you can come back on in a minute. Now, before we watch this video, which I'm sure we have, maybe you just weren't here, Packer, think of Putin without a saddle, bare-chested, riding a horse. That's a leader. Think of Alexander the Great. Think of Genghis Khan. You know, think of leaders of men who took armies to conquer worlds. Now,
is it as good as the bacon sandwich moment?
You're going to have to. I don't know about the
like that Labour swamp. No. Looked like a bit like Rishi. There were two brothers in New Labour, weren't they?
Oh yeah. I know who you're on about now.
And they were both tipped to take over, and then one of them ate a sandwich on camera, and it was like a camel licking piss off a thistle. It was fucking weird to look at, and that was it. He was done.
What were their names? I remember the pair of those. Well, obviously I don't.
Ed Miliband and somebody, wasn't it?
That's it.
Yeah, the
Ed
Miliband.
and
Yeah, they'd gone to some like homeless drive for food, and then were given a like white bread bacon sandwich, and he ate it like it was some sort of alien substance.
Yeah, because he'd never ate a bacon roll before. The fucking, you know what I mean? Oh.
Yeah, check out Keir Starmer. His boxing gloves, by the way, on the wristband.
Up here, by the way.
It says "Vote Labour" on them. Now,
Oh,
I mean, look, okay, not everyone grew up having fights. I get that, but surely you can. I don't need to say anymore. Just watch this. Just be bemused. I'll get us three off the screen so that you can enjoy the full glory of it. It's only 12 seconds, but that's enough. Watch this.
That's all he'd need.
Yes, this is good. And again, that's it. And again.
Oh my lord! He put them up with as much mustard as he could muster. No.
Oh, hang on, you've all disappeared. Oh, there you go. But did you notice what he done? He touched the bag, then pushed it. So his punch was like, and then to make it move, he had to push it. Anyway, Mr. McGloinchy.
That's the one, yeah.
That's what it's going to be from now on. Did you just come on for a chat, or have you got something around my miserable outlook?
Yeah, no, I feel similarly. It's, I think, like you say, a bit of a hangover from having the lockdown, but a lot of it has to do with, I think people are. There's a great documentary by Adam Curtis, I don't know if you watch it, called Hyper Individualism.
I know Adam Curtis. I don't know if I've seen that one. Does he talk about Freud in that one?
He will normally bring up some sort of psychological rhetoric in whatever he's doing, but he tries to like pin a timeline together. That particular documentary, I think, tracks the rise of Assad with Trump through to his electional period.
Okay, this is interesting. Sorry, what's it called? Because he's a weird one, Adam Curtis, because he's a leftist without a doubt. Mm-hmm. But he, what's Bitter Lake? I really like
that's
Bitter Lake. So, can you remember what this one's called?
Yeah, Hyper Individualism.
It's actually called that. Okay, I'll check it out.
No, sorry, I think it's called Hyper Normalization. Sorry, that's what it's called.
Okay. Oh, that's far more frightening. Okay, continue. Sorry to interrupt.
But yeah, he just kind of talks about the correlation between a couple of points in history. But hyper individualism is, I think, something that a lot of people are suffering for the moment, which is everyone's wrapped up within themselves and are unable to appreciate base things in life. So a lot of quite normal, interesting, basic things like just going for a walk or counting your blessings or whatever are no longer sort of given any sort of weight, and you're perpetually trying to chase some dream which has been weaved for you by either people on the internet or whoever you subscribe to, whether that be, wealth or happiness or whatever. And in driving that, people are losing track of the fact that it's quite actually easy just to count your blessings and do simplistic things for your own short-term mental gain rather than chasing unachievable goals.
It's a great point, actually. One of the things I learned on the way was doing, this is going to sound strange, but doing things for other people with no desire for personal gain.
Yes.
And the boss at the treatment center said to me, have you ever, I was 34 at the time, he said, have you ever done anything for someone just to help them? And I didn't even have to think about it. I just was like, no, I just do. I look out for myself.
Well, it's not taught, especially if you've grown up with a bit of hard knocks behind you. It's barrowed into you to just look after yourself and go chasing.
It was certainly Thatcher's Britain, wasn't it? That, just get out there, don't bother with marriage and family, make money, get your Tesla, your red Ferrari, and live the life. And yeah, that's interesting. And that's why we've got no communities. And that's why you don't know your neighbours. Not everyone, obviously, but we don't know our neighbours' names. It's ridiculous.
Obviously, division is perpetuated by people that are in power because it's a lot easier to rule people that hate each other than people are combined. Orwell talked about it, obviously, in 84 and other novels. But
and culture. I mean, this is why I don't throw the baby out with the bathwater when it comes to the Frankfurt School, because Adorno and Horkheimer talk about this in the culture industry, the way that it is just about you, and it is just about how, almost creating a, like you were saying, like looking at the internet and whether it be wealth or beauty or success or fame, all these things, you try and sort of make an image of yourself rather than be yourself. And what you're just saying it, what a painful thing to do, to continually be acting.
I know, Well, they say depression is a physical manifestation of you being sick of the character you're portraying, isn't it?
Oh, I've never heard that before. Go on, more of that. Where did you get that from? That's lovely.
It's actually from Jim Carrey. So
Nothing
he said everything that he's done is a character. Even Jim Carrey was a character. He was trying to make other people at ease so he could be at ease with himself. But in doing so, it completely depleted all of his psychology.
I've talked about this before. Again, sorry to drag out the old treatment centres, but I had a problem with performing, and I'm sure Jim Carrey knows that one. Put me in a social group. Not anymore, because I've done a lot of work on it. But as a young man, especially like in a boozer or something, I'm holding court, and because I'm too scared just to be me. I need to be entertaining people.
A social chameleon, they call it, don't they?
Well, not so much like that. I think that's a different thing, where you go up to different groups and you sort of blend. If you go up to the people who are into metal, suddenly you're into metal. No, I wasn't
okay.
But I couldn't. I remember very introverted people saying to me, "I wish I could be like you. You go for it, and people like you, and you make people laugh, and the girls like you." And I'd be like, "Yeah, but I want to be like you. I want to just, we're both
to relax."
Yeah. In many ways, the introvert and the extrovert are the same. They're not comfortable with who they actually are. So one just retreats and the other one just becomes bombastic, but neither of them are who they are.
No, neither are happy either.
The understanding I have of depression, and I don't believe in mental illnesses, you are depressed, you haven't got depression. It psychoanalytically, it's described as anger, and that can be for a variety of reasons. It can be from childhood things, it can be from your daily work schedule, your partner, whatever. But anger that you don't let out, that you don't deal with, anger that's kept inside, will make you depressed. So that, I think that correlates with what Jim Carrey was saying there.
Well, it's an interesting subject, isn't it? Because I've definitely have seen a lot of, I wouldn't particularly call it happiness or sadness, just a lot of people feeling that they're stuck in a rut and that they want more than they can ever achieve, or that they feel hopelessness. And definitely the UK, for instance, which I can only speak from because I live here, I know that people come from other places, has become quite desperate in certain areas. It's like there's a lot more open hard drug use that I see around. There's a lot more people which are struggling to achieve their goals, which seem to be completely unrealistic. There's a lot of people which seem like in the US, you used to see a lot of people that want to wear designer clothes and jewelry, and that you see that perpetuate more and more and more, where that was never the case in the 70s and 80s when I was younger. It just people were quite happy with what they had, and for people to have like nice things or nice clothes was quite an oddity. And even if you did have those things, people would stop you and say, well, why have you got that? What are you trying to prove? Whereas that culture doesn't seem to exist anymore.
That's a great point. And I think really it's the first, well, maybe not the first, that's a bit drastic, but 20 odd years of social media has kind of got us here.
Mm-hmm. It's eroded people's self-worth, haven't they? So they're trying to bolster that with trinkets, which broke people going broke to impress other broke people just seems stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I know people who earn next to nothing, but they've maxed out all their credit cards. All their wages are paying off things just so that they've got that nice car, just so they've got that nice coat. But you can imagine that feeling of when you've got this mad bank loan that you're going to struggle to pay back, and when no one's coming around your house to see your car, they're not interested. And you're thinking, well, hang on a minute, that's costing me a fortune.
Exactly.
Your friends are like, yeah, but it's just a car.
I always, when I see nice cars parked out of like council estate areas, you just think, buy a house before you buy a Porsche.
The latest BMW parked right outside a council flat.
And I know you don't agree in house buying either, but even if their investments are correct, still rents are better than having a Porsche outside your house.
I was thinking about that the other day, my take on house buying, and I wish I'd have said, so I'm going to take the opportunity now. If you want to own a house,
you just don't mortgage it, was your point, I think I was trying to make.
Yeah. I think there's better things to do with your money. But if you want to own a house, then okay, that's fine. It's not my place to tell you to own a house. But in the sort of 70s and 80s, for instance, and even the early 90s, you'd be comparing yourself with your social group or your work group, and the
barometer for people comparing themselves to each other would have been something like a Ben Sherman jacket or something, not like a £10,000 chain or Gucci jackets or how much cocaine you got in your pocket or silly things like that. It was the barometer was completely different.
But also a lot less people. I
remember when it was Fred Perry t-shirts. Is that Fred Perry? Oh, all right then.
Yeah. But now you go online and you go on any social media, people are just giving you the impression they've got the best life ever. And in fairness, some of them are going on holiday to the Seychelles next week, and then they're going to the Maldives the week after, and they're earning $500,000 a year. Are they happy? Well, that's debatable. But you're comparing yourself with those people. The scale of comparison has just exploded, and also they're considered successes.
Exactly. And most people will tell you the happiest time of their life was when they had like a £5 in their pocket when they were 16 and they were all going out with their mates and bought 4 cans of Fosters. And since they've got a marriage and a job and everything else, which can be enjoyable and freeing, but if it's not in the right scenario, it can be like a ball and chain, are completely miserable.
Can you remember the Smiths lyric?
I can't off the top of my head, but I knew what you're talking about.
Yeah.
If you've got a marriage and a house and a family and a job and you're not happy, you fucked that up somewhere. One or more of those things is wrong.
Yeah. And should be addressed and changed.
Yeah, you should try to get it right.
Because
if you get all those things right, then you're fine.
Or things like Succession, which is roughly based off of Rupert Murdoch, who's probably one of the most successful business people outside of I can't be bothered to name other successful people, is he's inherently miserable, and like everybody within his family is miserable. They're clawing at some legacy which doesn't exist. They're trying to make the company some immortal beast which no one can handle, and in the interim their like mortal lives are miserable. It's all infighting and one-upmanship and usurpation and a lot of stuff which inherently makes them miserable, and they're some of the most wealthiest people on the planet.
Yeah, I mean those CEOs of those megacorps, the reason they're CEOs of megacorps is because they're exceptionally psychopathic, and that's
One in the chat for all the sad CEOs of the megacorps.
it isn't I went looking for a job. It's not that one. It's not, and heaven knows I'm miserable now. It's actually she was left behind and sour, and she wrote to me equally dour. She said, in the days when you were hopelessly poor, I just loved you more. Oh, I just liked you more. In the days when you were hopeless, you know. And when I heard that, well, not when I heard it because I was very young, but when I listened to it when I was older, it took me back to my first girlfriend in a bed sit, beans and cheese on toast on a Friday night, and some of the best days of my life.
The beautifulness of Morrissey's lyrics is that, you know, he's quite a verbose poet, but what he talks about is relatable to the common man because he grew up in quite a shit area, Salford or whatever it was. So,
have you read his autobiography?
Yeah, the sex scenes are quite cringy.
I felt the court stuff just ruined it, but for someone who's a songwriter, I mean, I was blown away. I thought this man is a excellent writer. You know, this isn't like.
Well, there's no debating that. I think that is correct, but what he chooses to hang his particular subjects on can be debated.
Didn't I don't know. I can't remember the sex scenes. I mean, do they come after the court stuff?
It's talking about one of his first interactions, I think. I'll try and find the quote for you. But it's kind of heralded amongst people that have read that as a very tough read and hilarious because it's like so frigid in a way. It's ridiculous.
It is hard writing about sex, though. I mean, there's not a lot of sex in my manuscript. Well, there is actually, but it's all everyone's a failure. Not the writing of it, but I wasn't in a position to get the old boy working, so luckily I didn't have to write. I mean, it's you know, it's notoriously difficult to write about sex.
Yeah, I found it. I'm not going to read it out because it's cringy even for me.
Please.
It says the sex scene in Morrissey's novel was eye-wateringly bad, and this is the quote: Eliza and Ezra roll together in the one giggling snowball of full-figured copulation, streaming and shouting as they playful bit and pulled at each other in the dangerous, climacterous roller coaster of a coil of sexual violent rotation. With Eliza's breast barreled rolled across Ezra's, howling, mouth pained in frenzy, this bulbous situation extended excitement as it smacked its way into every muscle of Eliza's body except the otherwise central zone.
It's almost as if he's desperate to tell.
He's trying to write about straight sex, having no experience of.
Yeah, amazing. What can you just read the line, the bit where he mentioned bulbous? Just that line again.
Hang on, let me grab it up for you.
Because that's.
I'll need to see your hands at this point, by the way.
Okay.
Yes, Elijah's breast barrel rolls across Ezra's howling mouth, and the frenzy of bulbous salutation extending from excitement as it smacked its way onto every muscle of Eliza's body.
Gosh, okay. Yeah, I'm going to take back a little bit of what I said. How comes you had that to hand? Because
I just Googled, it's well known. If you just Google Morrissey sex scene on the internet, it's full of articles of people saying this is ridiculous.
What I found was the stuff about school was brilliant. I really liked that. And when he went back and the teachers, like, they welcomed him, like, wow, Morrissey went to our school. He just punted them off. He was like, I hated it and I hated you. And it was the worst days of my life. As you should say to them, because it usually is. David, it's been an absolute... Sorry, go on.
No, I was just about to say, I imagine education at Salford in the 70s wasn't much to write home about, so he's probably correct in doing so.
Yeah. Well, he writes some beautiful songs about it. The Headmaster's Ritual is absolutely gorgeous.
None of which he learnt at school, though, I imagine.
Yeah, right. Fair play. David, it's been a real pleasure. Lovely. Excellent. Ta-da! A D in the chat for David Maguli. That's changed again. Sorry. What do you make of David, Packer?
He's nice, isn't he? I like him.
You put in your D in the chat. I thought that was excellent.
Because I can get a capital D on the go.
I think people forget that, me and you, or you now a lot as well, but I've been doing this. I've done stand-up. I've always been a public speaker, really, and performer. But for a lot of people to suddenly appear on a screen and have 110 people listening to your every word and judging you like humans do, not necessarily an easy thing to do. I thought David handled it really well. I wonder what he does for a living.
Just come on and talk. It's can't be hard. I do it.
David, I'm gonna have a guess here, David. I think you work. I think your job involves speaking. I think you have to pitch things. I don't know. It would be ridiculous to suggest what field, but I think you have to go to clients and make pitches of some sort. It's a long shot. If he was
still on, we could have made him mime the hand movements of his job, couldn't we?
What's it called? What's my line? Is that one?
Something like that, wasn't it?
Someone really weird was on that once. Salvador Dali was on it.
Super chat.
Oh, nice one. Super chat. Arglow's dropped 20 big ones, keeping the old Dangertron alive. Lefty Twitter uses the everything thing was crap. Right, that's a typo, I'm guessing. Lefty Twitter uses the everything was crap years ago crutch to bolster their progressive shite. It's their number one go-to position when you give them a more right-leaning perspective. Everything years ago was shite. It's an impossibility. Thank you, Arklow. Good comment. Lovely super chat. Much appreciated, Kookie. I think it's...
Well, you just replied, not as shite as this, though.
But, I mean, even the war, even the Second World War, and I had... Well, not anymore, but I had friends who lived through it. And they said they had a better... Now, look, I'm not glorifying war, obviously. But as David was saying, if you've got some basic human essentials of like friendship, family, community, intimacy, honesty, the things that don't make money, that you can't really sell that shit. You can dilute it and sell, that's what social media does. It pretend, social media is meant to be about communication, but they're just platforms of deception, really. And, look how many war films that you watch, especially when they're set in England. So the war's abroad, obviously, because apart from the Blitzkrieg and that, there wasn't land wars in England. You look at it, it's quite romantic, isn't it? You've got the American troops here and people, they just seem happier in the middle of a war. And I think I said this the other week. If you watch a movie, any movie about the future is dystopian. You're hard pressed to find a movie set in the future that is optimistic. Oh, look how it's going to turn out in 50 years. It's amazing. You know, they're all look how it's going to turn out. They pretend it's amazing, but it's really bad. Whereas if people want to make films that are, you know, where there's romance and where there's all those things I just said, happiness and family and intimacy, they always go back in time. You know, they all the Chinese do it. When me and my girlfriend watch Chinese movies, you know, it's not modern day Shanghai. It's like 200 years ago, and like there's no concrete in sight, and it's like, and they've got their little hats on, and it's a very basic life, and it's appealing. You know, it's appealing. Can anyone in the chat think of a film set in the future that portrays the future as a place you want to be? I'm not saying there isn't.
Star Trek. Star Trek's fairly upbeat, isn't it?
Peculiar answer. That's incredible. Glass is on the firm.
As far as humanity is concerned, it's a pretty good future.
What one?
On Earth, all wars have been settled and all that shit, and we've joined leagues with other planets. It's all lovey-dovey. No one has to earn money. They just do the jobs they want to do.
What film are you talking about here?
Star Trek films. Gene Roddenberry.
Yeah, but they're always fighting, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's not. It doesn't work.
Interesting. So, well, yeah, but you got to tell a story, haven't you?
That's no excuse. Well, would you like to live in an era where your job, because they run out of space on Earth, care homes were spaceships, and you're the care home you work for, you'd be the handyman, and you'd have your house like you've got now, but you know, circling the Earth, and you know, it'd be pretty much the same, but in space. Would you like to be in that sort of environment?
No.
No, why not?
I'm scared of heights.
I don't know if it's the same though when you're in space.
Would I happily live isolated?
Or do you think you're going to fall out the window of the spaceship and fall to Earth or something?
No.
Why would you? Do you get scared of heights in an aeroplane?
No, I was being flippant, Chris. Of course, I would.
God!
Scared of heights.
Have you flown in an aeroplane?
It would be the getting up there and yeah. I've flown to Greece and I've flown to Northern Italy.
And what one was the better one?
They were both interesting in their own way. The Northern Greece one we went when I was a kid at school, so I was only about 13, I think. We went skiing.
Hang on, what fucking school did you go to? Go on, Packer, do it.
I went to a secondary modern. I went to a secondary modern in Lincolnshire, and it was actually a trip that was organised every year for the fifth formers or something. But they had some spare seats. And they offered them to the
hang on. You're playing this. You're doing the old free dinner ticket skiing trip here, aren't you?
No. My mum and dad paid. Me and another lad called Matthew went.
Millionaire parents.
Anyway, the plane to that gig, it was like a East Midlands Airway or something, and there was like mastic coming out from between the panels, flapping and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that was the first time I went. And then when I went to Greece, we had trouble getting home, but only because there was a storm, so we couldn't get off the island to get to the airport to get the plane back. So we then had to spend another 2 days in a hotel somewhere, some really shoddy hotel with no doors on the lifts and all that kind of malarkey.
In
no one had any money, and then got the plane home. So when that plane landed, everybody like cheered, and it was great.
Well, I am gonna get back onto that. to be fair, Jeff, there was a skiing holiday at my school as well, but like 7 people went, and they were the ones that had the Pierre Cardin school jumper and wore too much kuros. I mean, no one else could afford one ski, let alone to go on holiday. Doc Shelley is suggesting that Logan's Run is that's a dystopia, isn't it? You get to 30, the little thing in your hand, and you go, the carousel is a lie. It's a lie. I tell you. I was going to get that tattooed. The carousel is a lie. I still might. All right, youngster, trying to get some attention there. Yeah. Can you hear me? Oh, he's gone.
Yeah.
Soylent Green. That's a dystopia as well. But Mr. Shelley, or Dr. Shelley, should I say, maybe you. I mean, hang on a minute. You might have changed my mind. I mean, I could probably do a few weeks in Stepford Wives just before it gets to the end bit. If it was just the first half of the movie, I'd quite like. Would you live in Bimbo Town, Packer?
No,
if you're a young single man.
Yes, absolutely 100%.
Just an absolute flip there. I understand you had to say no, but that was brilliant. Imagine a town where every woman was a bimbo. Oh, it's Dartford essentially. But it would get difficult, wouldn't it? I mean, it would be a bit like Patong when I was 35. You just at it all day. You can't stop. Sorry, I went into a bit of a... Let's get someone in. Let's see if someone wants to come in. David set the bar high. JP, we didn't sort out our stream this week either. Jeff,
he was Googling stuff as well, wasn't he?
It was amazing. He had it right there and then. Did you grow up on that manor, Jeff? There's a posh school up that neck of the woods, though, isn't there? St Anselm's, is it? I remember they wore shorts and they had the little caps and that. And we were like
segmented umbrella segment hats.
That's it. Exactly that. And we all thought they must be minted. They probably weren't. I think it was a Catholic school, actually. That's all it was. Vespercheck says the left want to live in the future presented in 1984. Do you remember when Hillary Clinton got out 1984? She actually got the novel out and she said, this is Trump's utopia. And everyone was like, no, you've got this wrong. You've really got this wrong. Silly.
Yeah, we all thought you'd read it.
Whoa. That's on, isn't it? Sorry, people. I just talked over Packer. He said she probably hasn't even read it. Arklow's coming on. Oi, that's on tonight. Well, 8 o'clock in the morning for me. Trump Biden live debate.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be something else. I mean, I'll be just going to sleep. But
who's streaming that? Crowder? Crowder will do it, won't he?
All over for Crowder, mate. You well behind the times.
No, who's streaming it then? Who are we looking for later on? Salty Cracker?
I imagine he will be on Rumble. But it's 8 o'clock my time. So that's about 2 o'clock in the morning your time. Arklow, have you lost loads of weight, or does just putting on a pair of glasses make you look thinner?
I'm about 230 pounds. I haven't lost any weight.
Packer, would you say Arklow looks like he's lost weight, or is that just me?
No, he did a bit when you said it. Yeah, I hadn't actually looked at him till you said, and then he does come across as.
It's nice using my glasses here because the screen's a lot clearer. My eyesight isn't very good.
No, mine's going downhill ridiculously. Wait, Arklow, when you wake up in the morning, does it take a while for your eyes to work?
Oh, no, not really. No.
Mine do. Even with my glasses, I'm trying to see who's calling me, and I'm like,
But I think that your eyes get lazy or something when you get glasses, because I mean, like, you're very blurred there now, and
no, like Mitch Hedberg said about what is it? The Yeti. You know, all the photos of the Yeti are blurry.
yeah.
Mitch Hedberg, comedian, he said it's not that the photos are blurry. He said that the Yeti is actually just blurry in real life.
Yeah.
Arklow, have you noticed what I'm going to ask you, really? Well, I hope you do, because I've forgotten how to even ask it. Have you noticed people becoming less happy, which is the same as more miserable?
I'm not sure. I think that people are more distracted all the time, and it's hard to ever get people in a place where they can talk about whether they're actually happy or not, or at peace with the world. That's what I would say. It's people are there's an avenue of entertainment just like a click away all the time now, so people don't have to contemplate it that much. All I know is that in our wonderfully progressive world, in our world that has just been on this trajectory of upwardly to unbound happiness and just good morals as well, just better people. Record numbers of drug addicts and alcoholics in Ireland, and suicide, and rape and domestic violence, and generally all crap. So it's almost like something isn't quite working there. It's almost like just seems like something's wrong somehow.
It's almost as if there's been a major societal shift in the last 20 years.
Yeah. What could it be?
Are you in the thick of that, or are you well out of the cities?
I live like 60 miles away from Dublin, but I worked, without getting too doxy, I'd have seen a lot of the stuff that I described there, or the environments it was happening in, let's just say,
I was the best man of a friend in Kilkenny. Is that
Kilkenny? Yeah.
Southeast? Is that southeast?
It's in Leinster. Yeah.
And this was a while back, like maybe 10, 15 years ago. And I remember there was a little conversation, and one person said that there's a lot of changes happening. You're starting to see it in the cities. And the other 4 or 5 people around the table were just like, well, it couldn't be better for Ireland. This is what we want. We want skills, and we want diversity. And
yep.
I wonder what they're thinking about it now. But there's quite a lot of pushback, isn't there? I've seen loads of marches, and it would appear
there is Ireland's like a relatively small population still, relatively, like there isn't the same anonymity over here. Like if there's protests and stuff, like there's no kind of feeling that it's a mass movement. It's a feeling like it's just like a fringe, which you could argue to a certain extent it is. And that's one thing. But I don't really make any great effort to hide my politics at all. Really, I don't. I'm polite and I'm deferential, as in, please tell me what you think, please. I'd be very happy to hear it. in the pub, I'll concede points left, right, and centre, and I'll do all of that to try and leaven what I'm saying. I never get it back in return, by the way. I never. And I'd have 3 or 4 of my mates going at me simultaneously, cutting me off, coming out with bullshit things I could refute if I was fucking half my brain was removed. But I stay lovely and on the point and just say, look at what's the argument against them, what I'm saying, guys, rather than just trying to insult your way out of it, or just saying, oh, here's fucking Joseph Goebbels again. Like, what's your counterpoints to what I'm saying? I might happily listen to it. Like, and if you've a better, like, a conspiracy theory is, that the earth is flat, right? But me telling you things that are demonstrably the case and then giving an interpretation of them, that isn't a conspiracy theory, lads. That's simply me giving my interpretation about facts of the matter. So just tell me how I'm wrong. Tell me how my interpretation is wrong. Okay, that's all it is. Just indicate to me how I am wrong, and I'll happily listen to it. By the way, because it's entirely possible that I have things arse ways. I'm not making any great for it, but you never get a coherent argument other than a kind of a vague appeal to, oh Jesus, what happened to you? That kind of thing. I like the same films I ever liked, the same music, the same humor, everything. It's just, I think
there's 2 things at play there, and from when I was a communist, they really make it about your identity.
Mm-hmm.
Politics shouldn't be about identity. It's not. It's about conversation and debate. That's it stops people having wars. That's that's kind of why it's there. But the left have made it about your identity. So an attack on their ideas is an attack on them as a person, which is why they get really angry, really shitty. And it's intentional for sure.
Yep.
The other point, I saw a video yesterday. I think it shot around the internet. There was a protest outside some corporation. I can't remember what it was, and it was a YouTube video. And the man with the man with the camera and the mic, he went up to someone, and he said, "So why are you protesting?" They were. If anyone saw this, can you let me know what it was in the chat, and I'll dig it out. They had this big banner, and excuse me, he held this mic up and said, "So what are you protesting?" And
it was Trump, Chris.
That's it. It was.
It was Trump. It was the leader of the demonstration was saying, "Look at when we know this guy is provably guilty of so many criminal offences."
That's it.
And the interviewer just said, "Okay, the provable ones. Could you just tell me some of the provable ones?"
Can you what? How can I find that now? Can you remember what channel it was on?
Well, if you just look for a banner outside Trump Tower, I'm sure that'd
get it. That's amazing. That was it. The one I saw, I think he was speaking to a woman, but like you say, they were on the left, so hard to say. Trump.
I wouldn't want to misgender anyone,
No. Oh, I tell you what, I won't name the bank, but I was logging on to a bank the other day, and this thing changing some details, and it said, "Do you want to change your gender?" And I just thought, they really bought this.
Yeah, I'm more and more at work. I'm seeing more and more footers in emails saying pronouns.
Even let's say in 30 years' time, we've got a largely right-wing planet, which I think we probably will have.
Yeah, I think we will. Yeah.
But even though that will happen, I think all of that will still be ingrained into people. That's just part of our culture now. People,
there's no getting rid of any of that. That's the normative got deconstructed there, and everybody thinks that or if it's a normative, then why can't you just give me some sort of compelling reason why it can't change? We're not arguing that a thing is mutable in terms if concepts aren't mutable, and that how we describe things and the conventions we use. We're just saying that we have ones that have good application, that are healthy and useful and keep us anchored to a lovely sort of core of good behavior and things that are healthy and decent.
Absolutely.
We don't need to explain it beyond that, because that's enough. All the wonderful little thought experiments you can carry out, and whatever way you want to try and explore language and how you think about it, that's absolutely fine. But you want us to rearrange all the externalities, all the structures around you, just so your position feels lovely and validated.
Yeah.
I mean, what else do they go on the way to do? You're not, these people, this protected minority class, that they're not fully seen. I don't fucking care. I don't care. It's irrelevant. How does that mean anything? It does. No, you have the freedom inside your head to explore your wonderful individuality, but you have to sack up and be a fucking citizen for when you're moving around the world for most of the time. That's just all there is to it. Like,
yeah,
I
can remember on one of my art schools, and it wasn't even fine art; it was commercial art. It was illustration, but because of the Long March, it was a leftist institution. It was an art school. And one of the books on the reading list was Raymond Williams, who's a well-known Marxist. He's a Marxist. It's not like me. I'm not calling him that. He'll tell you that. Well, I don't know if he's still alive. No, he's dead. He died in 88, 89. But his book was called Keywords. And all it is a book of key political terms defined by him to maintain Marxist orthodoxies. So 16-year-old kids who were going, that's when I was at that art school, who were going to study, I was studying illustration, fucking bank leaflets and the like. You got this book and it would have ideology. And it was Louis Althusser, another Marxist. I quite like Louis Althusser, some of his stuff, but it was his definition of ideology, which is, he describes it as your artificial ideology is your artificial relationship with the real means of production. I mean, that's just Marxism. It's a means of production. Okay, that's capital. And it was amazing. It took me a while to remember this, but they're giving 16-year-olds a book that is owning language, and we're telling them that this is what this means. This is what this means. This is what this means. And who made that decision? Who made a decision for people studying art to learn to have a Marxist vocabulary, and don't forget, in those days, governments paid for your tuition. That was taxpayers' money. Yeah, Raymond Williams, Keywords. I think it sold millions of copies. It's been translated into Lord knows how many languages, and it's just a selective Marxist dictionary, essentially.
Yeah. But sure, that's like soft power is it might have a longer time frame, but like you give soft power 30 years to do its job, and it can achieve everything that a Panzerfaust could do, in 6 months of blitzkrieg across a fucking Russian steppe.
And I've mentioned it before, but that aeroplane in the Second World War, it was the first bomber that had more camera equipment in it than munitions. And that supports what you're saying, because they thought if we can send photos back of Dresden on its arse, that's worth more than.
Yeah. I mean, it's not nice to think about that. The way we govern ourselves relies a lot on controlling how people think about things. That it's not nice to think about that. There's something inherently not remotely benign about that. But then again, it's impossible to not see how you could get people to act coherently in one direction if you don't kind of unify what they're thinking about a bit. So it's not quite the same thing, but it's a massive problem I have with politics, for example, is that, you know, yeah, democracy, and you've got competing ideas and this, that, and the other. But when it comes down to it, it doesn't matter how sensible a bit of data might indicate something is. It depends on, like, politically, if it can be spun to be a good idea.
Exactly that.
You know,
yeah.
so that's why I just am trying to keep things very simple.
And if you've got hold of if you've defined the language, regardless of how you try and talk to people, they won't have the same. The words you're using mean different things to them.
Will mean different things. Yeah.
The democracy fails as soon as that happens. I mean, you know, it's a little bit crude what I'm about to say, and not crude in the sort of sensual sense, unfortunately. But this whole Ukraine thing is much like Airstrip 1. You know, there's this war going on over there, and it's always going on over there.
It's always going on.
Yes, that's it. and you've got to do
always
this.
Has been.
What did I see on? It was so. Yeah, there you go. It always has been. That's the line. And it really has been. You know, that's, you know, since 16, is it? Well, it was certainly October. That's been happening, and it's still happening. And even with Perestroika and Glasnost, it was still happening. We still don't like the Russians. We still don't like the Soviet Union that hasn't existed for 30, 40 years. It's absurd.
I thought I might have been getting connectivity issues there, chaps. My apologies. I think I dropped an F-bomb there.
Didn't hear it.
Just, can you hear us? Can you?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you fine. Yeah.
Just going back to that, I lost my train of thought, but hang on. Like what I heard about Sunak not wanting to be a war prime minister, and they, you know, there was all that talk of conscription a while back.
Yeah.
You know, oh yeah, that's it. I can't remember what platform it was on. It might have. I don't want to get myself in all sorts of trouble with a mega corporation. It might have been Amazon. It might have been Free Trade, but I got a notification saying I wish I could remember exactly, but you weren't allowed to invest in Russian shares or something like that, or you could not sell Russian products.
Yeah.
And it's like, hang on a minute.
What the
I watched Ukraine playing the Euros last night. I mean, like in a globalist competition, you know, you know,
with apparently 200,000 fans all over Europe, you know, having a here. And I'm a sports ball enjoyer. Go for it, guys. If you're having a good evening doing that, but don't piss on me head and tell me it's fucking rain, lads. No.
Exactly.
You know, come on, like,
you know,
I had a good red pilling session with 2 young lads that was on shift with me. Like, you know, I had them in me clutches, you know, and a bit of geopolitical. The young lads I don't know how much they care about these things, but I got the old. Yeah, but what if Russia starts trying to invade the rest of Europe? You know, Poland they go next, and I says to them, no, they wouldn't. Are you having a laugh? What happened to Russia when you're only young, lads, and I know you don't remember anyway, but I seem to remember they invaded Afghanistan. What happened there? Their soldiers got their throats slit and they got castrated up in the hills until they got sick of being there, saying we're going home. If our shores in Ireland get invaded by the Russians, I solemnly promise, and I'm not trying to be all mad here, I'll help defend our country. How will I do it? The tried and trusted way. When the aggressor comes in, you wait till he's in, then you make their lives miserable here by the insurgency and by you make it horrible for them to occupy you. How do you think Lebanon managed to get invaded so often? They welcomed their invaders in and then waited until they were there, and then they attacked them relentlessly. Like, this is
you're going to upset
the idea that Russia is going to like just roll over all the countries in Europe and just invade them all. It's so utterly stupid. But we have Ursula von der Leyen and all these people telling us solemnly from the podium in the EU. You're there looking at the television, belly laughing at the stupidity of it. Like,
I mean, you
ridiculous,
know,
ridiculous.
It's two questions at that point. Do you know why Russia and Ukraine are at war? No. Have you heard of NATO? Okay. So you think they're going to just march through this sort of horseshoe of long-range ballistic missiles? Yeah, it's madness. Arklow, final thought.
There was a few other, you know what, I'm going to have to have a think about it. There was a couple other yokes, but I can't remember what I wanted to. There was a few other yokes. Anyway, it's gone.
Talking, you'll remember. Have you got it?
No, next time.
No, I want you that if I ask Packer, is your boy politically engaged at all?
My boy? I don't think so. He is what I look watch. Hey?
Does he come back to you and talk about gender politics and identity politics?
No, he's not interested in any of that nonsense.
Is he not interested as in he said he's not, or does you just not hear him talk about it?
No, he said he's not.
Does he hear about it? Has he told you he hears about it at school?
No, he don't. He don't at his school.
Oh, okay.
His mum works there, doesn't she? She's
cool. and if they upset her, no one eats. Did you remember Arklow?
I just, as Packer was saying it there, I have a nephew that won't come near me again. He made the mistake of telling me the stuff they were telling him in school, and I was like, really? I mean, he came up to me about George Floyd 4 years ago. I was like,
oh my gosh!
I was like, look, mate, I can just sit down here till I tell you all about that, like, you know. So,
and he thinks you're completely wrong. He's like,
I don't know. His dad is one of a good friend of mine. He's a great lad. He's absolutely brilliant, but he thinks I'm lost. But you know what? We still have a great old laugh as well, though. You know. So
I lost a couple of mates during when this channel was heavily political. I lost a couple of very good friends. We slowly built our friendships back together, but they've never been what they were because of what happened. However, just over this last year, it's madness. They're sending me things that I knew 5 years ago. They're going, have you heard this? They're teaching people in schools, and I'm like, and it's really hard to negotiate because I really want to say, I was telling you that.
I was telling you that.
Talking to me because I was telling you that 6 years ago. But I just sort of say,
You just have to go, oh God, yeah. Whoa, you know, isn't that incredible?
Yeah. And I can't work out how they don't. You know, one of them said to me once, he said, you've been putting stuff on Twitter that's been upsetting some of my loved ones. And I said, well, what? And that was the end of that conversation. You know, they didn't want to talk about it. They didn't want to. I even set up a WhatsApp group so that we could discuss it. And I called it Friends Talk Politics. And both of them left a massive message about the perils of being a Nazi and, fascism.
Oh, my goodness.
And then fucked off without me, you know, that's not a debate. They just told me I was wrong, to be careful. You've changed.
Yeah.
I'm upset, and then left.
You see, this is the killing part. Like
you've got to ask yourself there, Chris, is what would Ronnie do?
Sub.
Sub.
Sub himself.
Yeah, the framing is just you just talked about a subject. Can you not understand? You can't say those things. You've just ticked a box of wrongness there. There's nothing to be said.
Yeah.
And that's what anyone is up against when you're kind of going. And no matter how many times I tell people, do you think I just came down out of the sky with the head I have on me? I was a fucking YouTube atheist, lads. You know what I mean? A late noughties hoovering up progressivism, thinking I finally have a good way of looking at things. It was my own inquiry, lads. It wasn't the right-wing boogeyman didn't fucking come and get me, lads. It's my own inquiry. What are you failing to understand about that, Lee?
One of those two lads in his parting blow before he refused to let me reply, his last line was, my advice is spend a little bit less time on Facebook. As if I haven't even got I've got a work Facebook account, but I don't go on Facebook and read something and go, oh my God. I just thought, I've been researching this stuff for years.
Yeah,
I was a communist as well, so I know the flip side.
Yeah.
But my advice would be spend a little bit less time on Facebook.
Somebody once accused me.
I'm internet radicalized, by the way. That's me.
I didn't get any of that.
Somebody once accused me of reading.
Again, right? Who wants to go first?
Somebody once accused me of reading a newspaper during an argument. I forget. Let's say go. Oh, that's what that's what a Guardian reader would say. I'm like, I'd have no fucking idea what the Guardian reader would say.
Yeah.
It's what someone with facts and logic would say.
Mad, isn't it?
I ain't read a newspaper since 1991.
That would be a thing I've had to say many times is I'm the only one here in this group that actually reads broadsheets. I watches Sky News every day, looks at our domestic news, and actually in good faith reads all the lefty lunatics that get hammered at me on Twitter and things like that. I'm the only one that does that. As far as I know, I would seriously think I've probably a slightly more rounded view, lads, to be perfectly honest with me,
And as soon as you walk them up that cul-de-sac, they don't want to know. Religion and politics in the pub. I'm not having it. Can you shut up? I won't invite you out next time. And you're like, okay. And then they'll carry on. They'll just shut you up.
Yeah. Oh, anyway. Sure. Looking in the run up to the friggin' that fucking election in November.
It's madness. The way the smearing has already started.
Lads, if you want a good laugh though, look at the ads. Look at the ads on Sky News for, we're getting to the bottom of the Trump, the evil, Jesus, it's actually very funny. Like it isn't Joe that's saying it's Donald. Look at this little clip of him fluffing a word. It's Donald Trump who's saying it isn't Joe. Joe actually was walking off in that direction because he was doing a different thing. He's not senile. Can you not understand that? I love that it was George and Maloney going over to grab him before he hopped up on one of the fucking parachute lads. I love that it was she was going over and grabbing.
I read Mumford actually told me today you'll probably know this if you're going that far into the other side, because Paul does it as well, Mumford. He said the media's new thing building up to the election, they've invented cheap fakes. So we all know what a deep fake is,
deep
right?
Fake is, yeah.
Paul said that he's been the left are promoting this idea of cheap fakes,
right?
And it's like when Biden goes off the wrong side.
Yeah,
I can't remember exactly what it is, but they justify it that it's like AI, or there's a little bit where they've reversed it. They're just making excuses for a man who is.
I think they should lean into it and say, look, he is impaired and he's still trying to do the right thing. Just try and do that, like, you know.
That would be quite. Actually, that's very clever.
Now you could frame a lot of people might start feeling a little bit like, no, he's doing his best there, and he is doing, like, he is like fluffing it all the time, but there mightn't be any malice. I don't know. I know it's like they can't.
You could do it. You could do it. This man who's got early onset dementia, and then just throw the lies out after it has got more, has created more jobs in America. Blah blah blah. Now I've forgotten something that was absolutely on the ball for this. Hang on, I'll remember in a minute. Hang on, what were we talking about? Cheap fakes, reverse psychology marketing. No, can't remember. I'll remember in a minute, and I will spread it far and wide. Oh yeah, there you go, got it. Right. So I released a product a while back, and by law, it had to have to sell it in America. I don't know whether England. You have to do it by law in England, but if it's from China or Taiwan, you have to say clearly made in China or made in Taiwan. And I said to my business partner, I said, look, let's not hide this. Let's not hide the idea that made in Taiwan means something is rubbish. That's from the 70s. Taiwan makes the world's best superconductors. One of the NVIDIA gets their superconductors from Taiwan. Apple, Meta, Amazon, they all, so rather than play it down, let's say it, in the product copy, Taiwanese electronics, and he didn't go for it, but I think it's a better angle to take because
you could argue it's just trying to game politics again, but like lean into the bad thing, because it rather than trying to have to pretend that Joe is a compass mentis, leader of the free world, which obviously he isn't. And it's just silly. It's actually just silly at this stage. The
way I found out about the Trump-Biden debate was someone sent me a meme, and it's the two lecterns, that they stand behind. You got Trump behind this one, and a huge bottle of Adderall behind the other.
And it doesn't make any difference to my buddies, and I said, look at lads, in my circles, we don't consider Trump to be our guy, by the way. Do you not understand that? I'm not even really defending him here. I can't stand listening to the totally stilted nonsense that you're regurgitating that you consider to be an informed view. And I'm sorry if that sounds insulting. I'm not trying to.
They've watched one episode of Question Time, and they've built their entire political outlook. I'm going to say this, and this is a conspiracy theory. Susan, don't shut my channel down. But I would not be surprised if in 30 years documents are released that either the FBI or the CIA have been told to somehow get some kind of chemical into Trump before that debate. I'm not joking either. Lord knows how Biden's going to survive this debate.
He's been off duty for a week, isn't he? They've took him away and plugged him in somewhere.
Camp David to get him prepped. But here's the thing,
Chris. He's probably had a complete blood transfusion.
The old blood spinning with the footballers.
Chris, everybody that knows how impaired Joe is already knows that the people that support him just don't care that he's impaired. They've convinced themselves.
Surely, I mean, Trump's gonna just tear him to pieces.
But sure, they'll be there going, well, the convicted felon, the convicted felon, the convicted felon. They'll just keep saying it over and over and over again.
Unconvicted felon on the other side.
The felon waiting to be convicted.
Yeah.
The only reason they haven't actually pressed charges against him is because they think he'd be a shit witness because he has dementia.
Well, see now.
Do you know what I mean? There's a good argument that only younger adults, you know what I mean, in their 50s and early 60s really should be occupying the highest offices because, you know, come on, like you need to be sharper and you need to be more in possession of your faculties, like, you know.
I think Trump can do another 4 years.
Oh, I'm sure he can. I'm sure he can. Like, but just, you know, particularly in America, it just seems to be this thing where a career politician has a career of like 50 years, 55 years. Like, I mean, which is kind of mind-boggling, like, you know, incredible. So
this is what Trump's up against. This is what is, because they can't. They're all in each other's pockets, right? Everyone knows something about everyone else. They're all doing the same shit. They all went to the same fucking island, right? If they start prosecuting each other, they all lose everything.
Yeah,
right?
Packer, it's meant to be
an outsider, so they can
Yeah.
let him have it, and he's not part of the club.
Yeah, his dirty laundry has been well and truly. His dirty laundry has been well and truly aired, and really enough, it's small enough potatoes, really. But everybody else, it's like nukes, mutually assured destruction. If, you know, say a client list was ever published, not that it ever will be, or it'll be long after everyone's dead. You know, so they have each other in a stranglehold, you know, and nobody, they just want to keep going on, knowing they have each other in a stranglehold, knowing that no one's ever really going to drop a dime on anyone because no one wants the whole frigging thing to go up in flames. So, and I mean,
look, I don't know, man. When you see the likes of Josh Hawley and Ted Cruz and John Kennedy, they're amazing.
They are. Yeah. Here, Chris, back in my liberal, progressive, lefty days, you know, I'd have just heard, oh, Ted Cruz, religious, and I never would have listened to a word he said, you know. And now you actually see him in a Senate setting, asking really good, structured questioning of people that deserve to be on the receiving end of like serious interrogation, and he does it really well, actually.
Did you see the nominations for the Supreme Court? And one of them was working for this Marxist Workers' Party, and she donated money to him. And Josh Hawley, I think it's Hawley, isn't it?
I think it is. Yeah.
And the other two.
There's a John Kennedy as well, I think.
He's the older one.
Real
really good. Yeah, really good. And they were just tearing her to pieces.
Yeah.
There was one of them. This is a person who's going to be on the Supreme Court.
Yep.
And he said to her, something like, "Do you know the Fourth Amendment?" And she went, "No, I couldn't give you it off. I couldn't." He said, "Just you know, I don't want it verbatim."
Yeah.
And she couldn't tell him, and he went, "Yeah, you won't be getting my vote." That was it. All right, Arklow, lovely to see you, mate. Look after yourself. Thanks for coming on. Take care.
Good to see you guys. Hi.
Hello, man. Arklow, Packer. There you go. He certainly does rock. Yeah, he's a good lad. When he started talking about fighting for Ireland, I was thinking, good Lord, 42's in the chat. It's all going to kick off again. Every time I say it, good Lord. Right. Let's see. There you go. We've got an ARCs here. Let's have some ARCs in the chat. Been around here long time. Good supporter of the channel as well. Keeps me in fried chicken buns. Oh, I tell you what, my missus brought me some food round today, bless her. God, it was nice. Some Cambodian, like a baguette. Cambodian food has got a lot of French influence because of the French invasion of Vietnam and Cambodia years and years and years ago. So a lot of their stuff, a lot of their snack food is baguettes, and it's a baguette. The ends have been chopped off, so you haven't got to chop them off yourself and throw them away. and it's like pork. There's a couple of spring onions run through it. There's crackling in there as well, and some bacon bits on the top. And I'll tell you what, man. And then you get a little sort of box with it, which is like cucumber, carrot, and onions in some kind of vinegar, some kind of pickles and stuff. And you chuck that on it. I'll tell you what, they cost about $1.50, and it's
I would tip the contents of that baguette into some whisked eggs.
There you go. Well, like make a sort of an omelette wrapper.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm aware of your diet. Manimu says this really has turned into an echo chamber. I try to engage, but it's just repeating and repeating everything we all know. John, come in, mate. Yeah, I'll put the link in the chat.
Go on, John.
I mean, when you agree with people, it will tend to feel like an echo chamber, but we don't always.
You a couple times, don't you?
We don't always.
One of them.
Chasworth is getting the ump about egg stories. John wants Mood to come on. 42's offering olive branches that weren't required. That was me causing problems. Dawn Browning keeping the grift going. Yeah, she does. And I'll tell you what, she's so good, Dawn. She says to me, "You hungry?" And I always think I'm not. I am trying to lose a bit of weight though. She got me a belly. And I'm on the gym every other day trying to get definition, and she's feeding me like a feeder. But she'll go to me, "Are you hungry?" And I'm like, "Nah." And then she comes around with a carrier bag, gets all the vegetables out, gets a red snapper out, gets all the pots and pans she can find in my kitchen, and just she makes some lovely food. It's all Cambodian, obviously. She does a lovely hot and sour soup. Last night I went to hers and we had this. It's a chicken soup, but it's just got it's a big pot and it just looks like a clear soup. And then when you put the ladle in it, it's got like a couple of chicken thighs, whole chicken thighs, and a couple of chicken wings in it. Not wings, sorry. What are the other ones? Arms. It's got a couple of chicken arms in it. Fins.
Goujons.
She cooks and she knows I'm lying when I say I'm not hungry. What I'm really saying is, no, I've got work to do. And bless her, she thinks, no, you need some food. Like when was it? A couple of days ago, she said, "You want to come around for a cup of tea?" Because she gets this lovely tea from the provinces. It's all like lemongrass and galangal and ginger. And I go round there, and of course, it's she's got a barbecue out on the balcony, and she's barbecuing prawns and all that, and she makes all the dips. She makes an incredible dick. A dick? I just said my girlfriend makes an incredible dick. I've only just realised you ain't got top on. Is that what Dawn meant earlier?
Yeah, the chat's been on about this for ages. Yeah, I ain't got a top on. So
It's not over there, is it? Thank you, Dawn. She does a good dick, yeah. Roy Hunter. Hello, Roy.
All right.
How are you?
All right.
Have you noticed that?
Hello. Did you hear me?
Yeah.
Did you hear me?
Yeah.
I just got the mic, yeah.
Oh, is that a new microphone?
It's off. Do I need to turn you on?
Sorry? Where's your accent from?
That one.
Oh, nice.
Scotland. You don't understand a word that I say because my accent's a lot worse than
Ian's.
Ian.
Let me guess where you're from. Hang on. I'm going to tune in your accent.
What have I got today? Danger.
Aberdeen.
Wait there. I've got it. There you go. No,
Roy, what
5.
do?
What am I doing? I'm turning YouTube off. It was all echoing.
Right. Oh,
Right,
you've turned
so
it
then-
off.
That's
There
it.
you
I can
go.
hear you now.
Right, okay. Yeah. So, yeah, you have got a broad accent, but we can work with it. We can work with it.
Try to get
What do you still live in Scotland? So do you 5 like proper Scotland?
It's
That
all
is
for Scotland.
Yeah, but that's proper Scotland, isn't it? 5. When you hear 5. What's the sort of what's the feelings up there? Are the Scottish people in 5 getting happier, or have you noticed a decline in the happiness?
I don't know.
Okay, amazing. You don't want to talk about that, no? Or you just don't. You can talk about what you want if you want. Well, obviously.
I was wanting to let you hear something, but I don't know.
You want us to hear?
At a scrub stock, I says to a honeymoon star, I would make him a psytrance track. I told him the other day I was $3,000 into it. It's really 6.
You're $6,000 into who?
Into making a track for the honeymoon star.
Okay,
A
all right.
psytrance track. Right, this is, well, I was sitting, this is what I was, Did you hear
Hang
that?
on, Roy, stop.
Did you hear that?
Roy, stop.
right.
Right, explain what you're playing to us first, because all I've got so far is you owe Honey Monster $6,000.
No, right, could you see it? Could you, right, that's what's playing. Right, I'm using that to play it.
Okay, what is that? Pro Tools or something? I
That's a
can't
push
really...
2.
Okay. So is this what you do? You make music? Is that a massive bong I can see behind you?
No, that's a heat lamp.
Lava lamp.
Lava lamp.
There you go.
The bulb's blue.
That's under the table. Right, so you've made some music that you didn't get ready in time for scrub stock, so you're going to play it now.
Yeah.
All right, then let's go for it. Brilliant.
No, I've not finished that. I'm just starting that. But that, wait there, I'll take that.
Go on then, play the intro again. Play what you've done.
Right. That's how far I've got.
I quite like it.
Right.
It's not really my kind of music, but I did
it's
quite like it.
psytrance. But Honey Monster says you like psytrance. I says I'll make you a track. I took so long because I had to learn the whole programming of everything.
What is it? Psytrance?
Psytrance.
I've never heard of it.
You've never heard of psytrance?
No.
No.
Packer, you heard of psytrance?
Mr. and Mrs. Chance's little boy.
Is that PSY trance?
Aye.
Okay.
Psytrance.
So that you make music. What else do you do, Roy?
Eh?
What else do you do?
What else can I do? No.
You don't sit still. No, there you go. No, he's moving again. Okay.
There we go.
Roy, how long have you been watching this channel?
How long do you think?
I don't
About
know.
the same time as Alcro Rocks. Is it?
It's very hard to Packer, help us out, mate.
So, as long as Arkler rocks, he's been watching.
Okay.
I think we came for what's his name? The kangaroo. What's his name? Devon Tracy.
Devon, okay, yeah. Devon Tracy. I'm trying to get him on actually. He got his.
I've never seen him since he left YouTube.
He's on censored.tv.
I've seen him the last time he was on your show. That was the last time.
Well, I'm going to try and get him back on. He did have another YouTube channel called The Pouch, which lasted, I think, about 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
But then they said, nah. and they got rid of it. I think that was only a few weeks ago. You can watch him. I'll tell you where you can watch him if you're interested, on Rumble. And sometimes it's just the first half of the video, and then he tells you where you can go and watch it and pay for it. But sometimes they'll put the whole video up. I was watching some the other day. So, Roy, can you understand my accent easily?
Mm-hmm.
How's this? Is that because my accent is represented more on the telly or in culture and that? So, because that is a very broad. Have you lived in Fife all your life?
No, I lived in Sheffield for a bit.
Sheffield.
All my kids are in Sheffield.
Huh?
All my kids are in Sheffield.
How many kids have you got in Sheffield?
4.
Wow. How old are they?
In their 30s.
No shit.
I'm
How old are you?
57.
Blimey.
You knocked them out when you were in your 20s. You thought, I'll get that out of the way and then I can enjoy myself. Yeah, you done well, mate. I've still got it all coming. I used to go to Sheffield for gigs and I didn't like it. I found it a very unpleasant place to visit.
As soon as I come home.
I think I'd prefer Fife. What's Fife like?
It was all right until last year. Everywhere you look, everywhere you look.
Oh, really? You've been getting some visitors?
No, I think they're here to stay.
That's amazing. Fair play. I've got a question on the entropy from Colin of Kent. Nice one, Colin, for using entropy there. He says, hi, Chris, quick question. Is autism a mental disorder or a natural behavior in your opinion? Cheers, guys. Well, I don't believe in mental illnesses because the mind is not the brain. I think people, now I'm not trying to be deliberately obtuse here, but I think people are different. And that's it. And some people are different in this way, and some people are different in that way. And they start categorizing differences and they give them a name. But when they say, for instance, autism's a good one to use as an example because they say it's on a spectrum. But at what point on that spectrum does autism become not autism? And is that then normal? Does it go normal, little bit autistic, and then really autistic? Because you can't have autism unless you've defined normal. And who's normal? I mean, now I'm not saying people don't suffer. You know, if the way you behave, if your coping mechanisms, if your amygdala, your fight and flight responses mean that you struggle understanding people's emotions, if you struggle reading faces, then your experience of the world is going to be different from people who don't, who can understand emotions from faces and emotions from tones of voice. But I don't think I don't believe in mental illness. You're just different. I believe that with all of the things in the DSM, in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Illnesses. So that would be my answer. If you're interested in that sort of stuff, search YouTube and Google for Jeffrey Sharla. He's been on this channel 3 times now, I think. And also, sorry, Roy, what's happening?
My daughter's autistic.
Your daughter's in a piss stink.
No, she's autistic. We're talking about autism.
Autistic.
She's autistic, aye. But you don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, one second, Roy. Colin, thanks for that donation. But the other person to look out for is Thomas Saz, and it's spelled SZASZ. Z. And even if I've got that a little bit wrong, you'll find it. There's a lot more written work than there is video, because Thomas Saz was working, 30, 40 years ago. But Jeff Sharler come on here and talked about mental illness and it being a myth, and he's released plenty of books. So, Roy, you've got a child who's been diagnosed.
No, she's not a child. No, she's in her 30s.
Oh, yeah,
but she's not spoke to me since her mum's funeral. It's about 10 years. But she's autistic. She was all the way she was born, all the way.
But what did that diagnosis, when the doctors said to you she's autistic, how did that change your daughter's or your life?
It didn't change my life, any.
And what about your daughter? Do you think it changed?
My daughter had to go to a special school and everything.
More alienation, more you're different, more separation. I don't think that's what.
I didn't notice a difference, actually. But everybody else did, eh?
Yeah, they love to. People love to.
Including my family. Ken, I've got three siblings. And they used to point it out to me all the time. Yeah.
And you'd be like, they're just my 3 kids, and they're different people. Yeah, and that's what it is. I think you're right there. You're correct. It drives me. It's a weird thing to say in these conditions, but it drives me mad. all this mental health thing. They say, at the moment, 1 in 4 Brits has got a mental health condition, and they haven't. That's just not true. It's just. I'll tell you what they have got.
Right now, I've got PTSD.
You've got PTSD. Now,
I hear a loud bang, I jump out my skin.
Yeah, but have you
Nobody else does. And everybody else laughs because I've jumped out my skin.
Wait, hang on. What, you've been diagnosed with PTSD?
For about the last 10 years.
What gave you that, if you don't mind talking about that? If you do, that's all right. Don't think about it, because this is on the internet, and if it's something you don't want to talk about, don't feel.
There's a scar there. There's a scar.
Have you done prison time, Roy?
Quite a lot.
I thought you had.
I was looking at it like, here's my previous.
You've got prison written all over you, son.
I was looking at the other thing.
In a nice way.
Where'd they put the glasses? Where'd they put this? There. Oh, here's my previous.
Are you having a nice time here, Roy?
Yeah,
You look very much like an old friend of mine. What are you doing? Showing us your diary?
I looked in it there about 3 days ago. For 1982, to 2009, I was sent to prison 17 times for assaulting people. 4 were foreign and 1 was a screw.
Hang on, you were sent to prison for assaulting a screw. What, you assaulted a screw on the outside?
No, inside. He slapped me and I fucking decked him.
What, and they sent you?
The first time I ever got the funky chicken. That's when they come, press the bell and they all come. And they get the fucking baton round the neck. And they've got 1 on each fucking elbow smacking you. You've got 1 on each fucking sole of your feet.
Yeah,
you're like,
not nice places.
You're doing the funky chicken, you're trying to scream, but you can't.
Funky chicken, amazing.
Well,
so you spent a lot of time in prison, and it's caused you problems afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can understand that. Hang on, what's going on here?
I think he's taking his shirt off so it fits in.
No, he's going to show us something. Oh my God, hang on.
I can't see it. Oh, right there.
It looks like, yeah. I can see it. Like, looks like someone slashed you.
I think there's one.
Oh, steady.
There's one up here. I think there's one there.
Hang on, who done that? Other prisoners or screws?
Just fighting.
What? Hang on, what? In prison or out of prison or both?
Beth.
Can I ask you what will be considered a personal question?
Eh?
Can I ask you what would be considered a personal question? You obviously don't have to answer it.
Go for that.
Did you grow up in a violent household?
No.
You didn't?
No.
Why did you get into fighting? Why do you think you did?
Peers. Peers.
What?
Friend.
They were fighting as well, or you? So you were in an environment where Roy, get in camera. No one can see you unless you don't.
I'm out of breath because I've just found out I've got asthma. Eh? I got an inhaler through the week to the doctors. Somebody's just come in with a dog.
Do you know them?
A Belgian what?
A Belgian Alsatian.
It's a Belgian.
Oh no, lovely dogs. I know them.
Don't see you got see you're on candy camera for God.
Roy,
you're on line.
Oh man, a Zoom meeting. It's a famous man. I've listened to you loads, buddy.
Hello, mate. Hello.
You see the one with glasses, but you've got glasses.
What's your name? What's your name? Not
Mark.
Roy. Mac.
Mark. Aye.
Mark, have you known Roy a long time?
Aye.
Did he used to get in trouble for fighting a lot?
Oh, very, very much.
Was he quite tasty though? Was he?
Aye.
Really?
You can.
He wouldn't stay doing.
Really?
So put him through about 4 bus stop windows.
And he just got up again and said, "Come on, let's have it."
Back for an air bus stop.
Roy, I'm not. This isn't. You don't look like a big lad. How tall are you, Roy?
5'9".
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, that's quite short. But you didn't want to stay down. You wanted a.
I like fighting.
It's not the size of the
fight. I didn't fight with people that didn't want to fight.
It's not the size of the dug in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the dug.
There you go. Roy, so your first prison term was for fighting, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Did you not think? How long did you do? No, but when
have you been in the jail?
No. Only through luck, though. I was a terrible criminal. It was just luck. But how when you first went away, did you continue to fight in prison? Well, you did, because you just told me when you were doing the funky chicken with the screws. When you came out, did you not think
I've had more fights in jail because of my accent than any other thing?
What, because they sent you down south or something?
We say court and they say court.
So
who's Ken? What the fuck ain't Ken?
Barbie's mum.
Roy, when was the last time you were in prison?
2009.
Okay, so you've done well. Do you not fight anymore?
No.
Was it alcohol related, a lot of your fighting? Do you drink anymore?
No.
It was that cup of tea?
Cup of tea or water, because there's not beer anyway.
I was smoking a joint there, my mouth was dry.
So if you you made that relationship between a bevy, what was it, Buckfast? It was? Come on. I've been to Buckfast.
I can't even
Abbey.
smell it. And see if I smell it in a book, it's like.
Wow, but that's
I can't
good,
even
though.
smell it.
What's that? So 15 years you haven't been to prison, and I assume you want to keep it like that.
I just
Roy, I
sit
can't see you, mate. You're off screen.
Oh, I'm sitting looking at you,
He's
and I'm in a chair that's just bubbling about.
a reformed character.
He is. It's been an absolute pleasure. Roy, I'm going to let you go so we can get something else on.
I
But
just wanted to let you see how far I'd got.
it's amazing. It's been a pleasure.
I'll maybe look at this and see. Yeah,
Who's the guy in the middle?
that's MC Parker.
Right. I've watched loads of you, buddy. The one at the end.
Chris.
If no one knows this channel, they think, why have all these blokes got no clothes on? Listen, Roy, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. At first, I struggled with your accent, but slowly I got used to it. And that's well done for getting off the booze and staying out of Nick. That's amazing, because a lot of people don't, do they? They spend their whole lives in there. And now you get to sit around making psytrance.
It doesn't even look psytrance, does it?
Yeah,
I believe that.
I listen to one band. Listen, Roy, you're going to come on again sometime, yeah?
Every chance.
It would be lovely to have you on
I'll
again.
come on with Ian.
All right, yeah. Do you know Ian?
All right.
What,
Well,
you know?
only mind I got his address. It took me 12 years to get there the first time. Then somebody planned it. It took 4. 2 there and 2 back.
Roy and Mark, it's been an absolute pleasure. You take care. Look after yourselves.
Right,
See you later, guys.
Do you cut me off or do I have to have the idea?
I didn't understand that. Say it again.
Do you cut me off?
I cut. You were saying something, were you?
Aye, do you cut me off?
You didn't get it, we turn it off.
First time I've
Oh,
done that.
okay.
He wants to know if you're going to cut him off.
Yeah. I'm gonna do that now. Take care, Roy. Take care, Mark.
See you later, Parker.
Ta-ra, mate.
See you later, guys.
Amazing. That was Roy and Mark. Oh God. What do you make of Roy then?
Brilliant.
He's
Been here as long as I've known.
You know what though? If you spent your youth in prison for fighting, and I know people like that, they just can't stop fighting. They love it. They go out. If they can't pull a bird, they'll start fighting. But he stopped. And that's pretty good. To be able to do something that's been like half your life, to actually one day think, you know what, I've had enough of this. And also knowing you're going back out into the world where you've got you've got form as long as your arm for violence, you're going to struggle to get employment, but to still stick with it. And he seemed like he was having a good time. He was a lively character.
He seemed okay with himself, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, nice ones. Can we have a Roy in the chat, because that was excellent having Roy on. He said he'd been on before. I feel like I forgot. Mr. Gold, did you actually want to be a moderator? I think you said let's get spanned up, but I thought you've been around these parts long enough. If you really want to be one, I'll sort that out for you. I mean, you don't have to do much, but the only thing you don't have to do is anything. But I think it might be time for if you want to be a moderator, Mr. Gold, you can be. I'll tell you that there. Hello, Dirk Bogard. Hello, Tags.
For a long time, haven't we?
What's that?
We haven't had the sex bots for a long time, have we?
I think they got bored of us not getting rid of them. Well, they're welcome. Who else we got in? All good outsides in. Oh, it's all good in the hood, and you ain't got to lie to kick it. That Dangerfield lad, what he says is cricket. That's all right then. It isn't cricket, I can assure you. LC350, here it comes, the big baguette confession. Oh, we're going back a while there. Look at the Roys in the chat. There, look. John Palmer's shouting spanner.
My missus cooked a baguette earlier. It was all there smelling warm on the side. Not eating bread, am I?
It was all smelly and warm on the side, was it?
Smelling warm, yeah. Fresh baked bread.
I'm gonna that you've reminded me to read out a tweet I put up in the middle of the night last night, thinking
Toffee
it was hilarious.
says, hang on. Toffee says this stream needs more dumbbell curls, you pair of weak gays.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, sorry.
You whipped son. Yeah. Anyway, listen to this. This will make a few people laugh who know the details, and it's a minority audience. Here we go. I thought this was hilarious. 2 people liked it. I get very little engagement. I think I'm shadow banned. Ever since, this is what I put on Twitter last night. Ever since my dad taught my 14-year-old self how to correctly align the rod of my big end, I've loved the sound of a 2-stroke pumping, especially when you get the chance to open her up to the max. And I was sitting on the toilet coming up with that for a couple of hours. And I do like to sit on the toilet for quite some time, weirdly enough. And I woke up today and thought, did I actually write that? All Good Outside has decided to come with some crazy stuff. E for Elephant, hello, mate. He says that Toffee loves gays. LC350, hello, mate. He's been breaking lockpicks and finding.
Have you ever seen Toffee, Chris?
Have I ever seen Toffee?
Yeah.
I think he's been on, hasn't he?
Has he?
What, is he like ripped to pieces?
He's like a pound shop Tom Hardy.
Well, he's welcome. I mean, the link's going in the chat. Hello, Sophist. He had to put his top back on because his window is broken open and can't shut it. Packer didn't give a shit about that, Sophist. He did not give a shit. Here we go. Hello, Moody. Nice to see you. Dirt Bogart thought that was Dostoevsky-ish. That's quite hard to say, isn't it? Hello, Lulu. Mousecat wins the bicep award so far. Good Lord. Big lad, isn't he? All Good Outside says, glad to finally be here, Mr. Dangerfield. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon in Arizona. Amazing. What do I know Arizona for? What's it famous for, Packer? There is something it's
being hot.
Is it one of those hot places? I think I had a Spectrum computer.
Desert place.
Is it?
Yeah. Today, right there, right now, will be the warmest 1 o'clock on record, probably.
Hang on a minute. I've just realised it's 3:30 in the morning. I said I was going to do an hour and a half, and I've done 2.5 hours. People, I've really got to go. I'm sorry about the quick ending. I will play some music, give you a bit of time to pick the grift up a little bit, obviously. But I have to go because I want to get this short story finished and I want to lift some weights. Got people call themselves Toffee slagging me off. Good Lord, I'm 52 years old. I do my backing, bending over, lifting up my fucking my gym gloves, let alone the weights. Yeah, Packer, they could do some work there. That looked like my nan's neck.
I'm built like a lurcher.
I know laughing at my own jokes is terrible, but it was only because I know what my nan's neck looked like. I know that wasn't particularly good. Look how the time flies, though. I just looked at the time. I thought, because I want to lift some, I want to get some writing done. I want to lift some weights, and I want to make some Angel Delight. Mrs. Meanit sent me about 13 packets of butterscotch Angel Delight, and I shit you not, I'm doing one a day. I can't. My missus stayed here the other night, and I woke up at about, because she goes to bed like 10 o'clock. I go to bed 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. But when she's here, I try and stay in bed at least until she's asleep, and then like another hour. And I try and be there when she wakes up. But then, you know, she's waking up at like 9 o'clock. Anyway, I got up at about 4 o'clock, come out here. I've got the blender. So the bedroom's, I've left the bedroom door open so you can actually see. That's my bedroom where my finger is there. The door's closed, obviously. She's in there. I brought my blender right down the other side of the room and plugged it in over there. I've got headphones on. And I've made an Angel Delight, popped that in the fridge, made a cup of tea, made my little flask of tea. By the time the tea was made, that Angel Delight, it's not like the old days, Packer, 5 minutes, it's ready to go. So I've gone back in my room, I've got my flask of tea, it's now about 4:15 a.m. I've got the bowl's about that big. Oh no, and there's something I didn't tell you. I doubled up. I put 2 packets of Angel Delight in and a whole pint of milk, you know, because for one person, anyway, I've got this massive spoon. It's all in my beard. And, you know, I don't know this at this point. My missus, I'm just sitting there. I'm balancing my phone between my knees. So I'm sort of trying to watch something on the iPhone with Mackenzie, and I'm putting this back, and I noticed something out the corner of my eye, and I turn around. My missus is sitting upright, totally awake, just looking at me, frowning. I said, "How long have you been doing that for?" She was like, "About 5 minutes." And I don't think she was that impressed, to be honest with you. But I just say to her, I say, "Look, I'm too old to care about what people think about me." And then she gives me a little kiss on the forehead and says, "I love you." And I go, "Ah." And then I try and feed.
Happens, isn't it?
Yeah, she just, you know what? She's got so much.
When you get too old to care what people think anymore.
Yeah. Well, I was there at about 11. You know, when you got one, you know, poor kids, you haven't got. It's a luxury caring what people think about you because you can't do anything about it. You know, when you turn up to school filthy, dirty, smelling of piss, and people go, you dirty gypsy, you stink of piss. It's not like I can do anything about that, because when I go home and go, "Mum, can I have a bath?" She'll go, "Bath? It's Wednesday. Are you mad?" And then I go, "Mum, can I wash my shirt?" "Wash your shirt? It's Wednesday. Are you mad?" So, you know, you have to forget. I think it, you know, makes strong people. I bet Roy was taking the piss out of as a kid, and he probably stuck a bog brush up there. What am I doing? I've got to. Someone did actually respond.
Oh,
Glass. Did you see the description, Glass? "Being here, spending my time with you in the scrubs makes me less miserable for the wedding jar. Do you want to be my best woman?" I'll write a set of rules down. You have to join us on our honeymoon. Don't shake your head, Packer. That's on. That's so on. Thank you, Emma. That's very kind. Have a look in the description if you didn't.
I asked Mrs. Packer earlier if I could get one of them Far Eastern brides.
All right.
One of them passport brides. She asked why, and I said, "Well, because you know all the house. She can be the one that stays at home and does the housework and the cleaning and the cooking and all that sort of thing." And she thought about it.
By all that sort of thing. What you mean, sort of the roles of a wife?
Yeah.
Well, I can understand why she said no now. Then I mean, I'm sure she was up to a point. Yeah, cooking, cleaning, and all that.
She was on board.
But then she probably thought when she starts belly dancing and all that, you know. And okay, Mr. Packer, you want me suck cock now or later, like yesterday? You go.
I can hear my 11-year-old son in the hallway sniggering.
Talking about sniggering, the niggler isn't in, is he? Colin of Kent, did I thank you? Well, I am now. If I didn't, I better just refresh entropy. I'll give that a quick refresher as well. Right. Well, there you go, people. It happens every time. I said I'll do an hour and a half. I promised myself. But it was a good show. I enjoyed tonight. Did you enjoy tonight, Packer?
I did. The boy crazy.
The boy Craze on the firm, is he?
Yeah. And Finley says hello.
There you go. Conversations I know now about. John Palmer's been on the firm 33 months. It's been longer than that. John, we'll do that next week. Let's apologise. Because of the concussion and staff sick, this week's been a write-off, really. I will probably be streaming tomorrow night, though. But I doubt you'll want to stream on a Friday night, will you? All Good Outside dropped to Ayrton Senna in. Nice one, All Good Outside. Nice one from Arizona. Can you find a rhyming slang for Arizona and a £10 note somewhere? I'm going to work that one out. Thank you, All Good Outside, and thanks for being a member, John, of course. And thanks to all the members, and thanks to my remaining 2 Subscribe Star donators. I am sorting out a bit of music. I know what we'll do. We'll do that. We'll press pause before the part is ruined. Right. Packer, my good friend, I'll let you go. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Not wearing a top is very homosexual for newcomers. Why are you not wearing a top? You told me, didn't you? It's hot.
It's like 20, 27 degrees in here.
Ooh.
I know it's not that hot.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I know.
It's a bit nippy.
Thing is, though, it was 15 last week.
That's weird, isn't it? That's the fun.
Yeah.
Hello, Ellie. How are you, love? I've still got a reply to you as well. I've got so many. Hello, Ludwig. So many people. My emails have gone through the roof. Dawn Browning said, I told Master Ben he could have another missus. It was an immediate no fucking way. You know what, though? True story, Dawn. I had my first 2 girlfriends, my proper 2 girlfriends, like 8 years and 11 years. Both of them I had threesomes with. I had a threesome with both of them, which is weird as well. And the thing is, after a while, I sort of lost interest in the threesomes, but the fact that they both were up for it, if I wanted it, made me not cheat on them, because I didn't really have an interest in other women because they weren't forbidden. It wasn't like, oh, fucking hell, she's nice. Because if I was out in the pub with my bird and there was a nice bird, I'd go, usually my bird would go, fucking hell, she's nice. She's up your street, isn't she? And it's sort of, it's when you feel like you're being deprived of something. And so they kind of sorted it out. And my missus now, on my birthday about 4 years ago, she brought one of her friends round, and I tell you what, that was a night. Anyway, that's a dark way to end, that weird way to end a stream about being miserable, isn't it? I wasn't saying I was miserable, by the way. I'm just relaxing.
I'm not miserable either, and I am actually relaxing.
I have noticed a lot. I don't think we really got to the theme of the video, but I have just noticed a lot of people don't seem to be as happy as people used to be. I'm not saying 50-year-old people aren't as happy as they were in their 30s. I'm saying everyone just seems to have. I think we're reaping the no rewards of 20 years of social media. That that need for that dopamine hit. How many likes? How many comments? All this sort of stuff. And look, I've got no problem with that. If someone makes a decent YouTube video and it gets loads of views, that's a good thing. But just a TikTok video of someone sort of just throwing eggs at a car or something, that is, it's just piggerish. Do you remember piggerish?
No,
Right,
I've got no idea what you're on about.
Put this one out to the scrubs. Does any scrub remember, Emma, did I thank you for that, love? Does any scrub remember piggerish, what it was? And I mean, happiness isn't, I kind of agree with you in a way, Toffee. Happiness is a treat. It's not something you should always be, because that's very strange and weird. But peace of mind maybe is more what I'm talking about. I'm always thanking you, Glass. I've got a couple of emails to you to reply to. Why women that Arizona is known for? Hang on. Why women that Arizona is known for, and the Grand Canyon thing? So the Grand Canyon's there. No, it's not that. There's something else. Colonel Custard, hello, mate. My wife brought one of her friends around for a threesome. I thought I was in for a good time. It's going to be a joke, isn't it? Until he turned up and made me sleep downstairs on the sofa. Go on. I see one is on the firm. I'm very lucky. I know what I need to be happy, but I'm constantly self-destructing. Well, that's not that lucky, is it? But maybe, the organism does what makes the organism successful. I've complained about my own behaviors in the past, but I've done them because they've given me what I've wanted out of them. And anyone who watches the behavior panel will know that that's a direct quote off of one of the fellas on there. The organism does what made the organism successful. That's a great call, David. Lars has been in here all that time. Out of the blue, Moody Edge says happy Pride Month.
Nice one, Moody.
Dawn Browning says, we've always got each other, whatever way you look at it. I still think of Exiled and hope he's all right. Who's Exiled? You've lost me there, DB.
Exiled Viking? Exiled Viking?
I don't know. I don't know what the hell's going on. Happiness, more or less. You got a few sounds. Yeah, oh, I do like a bit of Doug Stanhope. We used to have a friendship. It's a generous term for what we had, but we used to email each other backwards and forwards. I made some terrible faux pas. Anyway, hello 322 Messenger. Nice to see thee. Right, I've got to go. Packer, I'll let you go. Thanks a lot, mate. Always appreciated. Never a chore. It was
Thanks
good fun.
for having me.
Yeah.
No,
thanks for coming on. Take care, Captain Bad Eye. What is it? Open mic Packer or something? Orchestral maneuvers in the dark. Ta-da! Thank Packer, please, people, if you wish. Right, I'll get my thank yous out of the way now, and then I'll play the music. If you are new here, no one is, check out my Substack. Listen, Scrubs, this is serious now. It's not serious, but it is important. My last story is called Life's Too Long. I could do with some more comments on it. Now, they do pick up comments as they go along, but don't write a comment if you don't read it. Well, you can if you want, but I'd really like you to read it. But you'll read it in 5-10 minutes. And even if you don't like it, I'll tell you what, someone wrote a comment on there today on that story. and they could not have got it more right. I was blown away. I was blown away, actually, and I replied to him explaining why. Anyway, but I'll tell you what, I'll make life easy for you, and I'll send you the link. Can you like this video as well? If you don't like it, YouTube won't send it to anyone and say you might like this. They don't anyway, but it's worth a pop, isn't it? That's the wrong story. That's the one. Life's too long. It's a bit of a bleak old story, but it ends quite well. Oh, I've just broken the computer. So I've done something wrong. Yeah, no one got piggerish, right? I'll tell you. Good call, Chasworth. Right, there's the link to my latest short story. Thank you, JP. I've really enjoyed it as well, I must say. That's the link. There you go. You can see the little Substack bit in it. Piggerish. So, Big Brother. Remember that awful TV show? The first one was quite a laugh. By the time you were on Big Brother number 100, it was like, Jesus. It was about the 5th series of Big Brother. And what they done, they synchronized a few Big Brothers in different countries. So the same time the American one was going on, the English one was going on, the Swedish one was going on, the African one was going on, right? And what they done, they got the audience to vote for 3 people or something like this, and they didn't know why they were voting for them, and they swapped them with people from the other houses in the other countries. And this African fella was in the English one, right? One of those, I can't do impressions. It's that sort of Somalian accent. But there was this girl, this English girl, and she was a proper sort of Essex girl, you know. She had all bit the hair extensions, woke up and put all her makeup on and had her tanning, all that lark. And they were all sitting around really not getting on with each other now, because deliberately Big Brother tries to make people have arguments. And she wasn't getting any attention because of the new people. And you could see her getting a bit strung out because she wasn't the center of attention. So just out of the blue, I mean, imagine having this kind of personality. She suddenly went to these new people. What do you think about me? What do you think about me? And it was like, wow. And this African went, he looked at her and he went, you're too piggerish. And she went, sorry? He went, piggerish. She started crying. Fucking piggerish. Amazing. It made me laugh anyway. Right, I'm going to play a bit of music. I will be putting your comments on the screen. I want to thank Packer, obviously. I want to thank my moderators. The boy Cray is here. Rags might be lurking. I want to thank everyone who came on. You know, without guests, you don't get a call-in show. It was real good fun tonight, the guests. And most of all, I want to thank everyone who donated. Yeah, that's great. Really great. Trust me. And I also, most of all, want to thank all of you lot. It's a luxury for me to be able to do a stream and know I'll get a reasonably healthy audience. Lovely. Here's some music from 90s indie band Household. The song's called New Shoes, and I hope you enjoy it. Look after yourselves, people, and here's Household. Ta-ta.
crazy love me. Baby, I only tell lies 'cause the truth escapes. Summertime, we can get new shoes. I'll have brown and you can get the blues. I'm knackered, I'm fading, but in the right light I still look vaguely human. Happy it won't be long before we cave in. Summertime, we can get new shoes. I'll have brown and you can get the blues. You can get the blues. Don't worry about my heroin addiction, it's on its slide. I need you, love me, and I feel the same again tonight. Summertime, we can get new shoes. I'll
Cheers,
have
Packer.
brown and you can get
Let the good wine
the
stuff.
blues. You can get the blues. You can get the blues. You can get the blues.
Here we go. The house help. Bingo just rocked up. Yeah, good call. Give it a right, people.
You came in my dream, kissed me, loved me. Tears of a baby roll down your cheek. Your eyes are wide, so look around. You've love to give, so get it out. Get it out anytime. Love sits beside me, I feel complete. You came in my dream, kissed me, loved me. Your eyes are wide, So look around. You love to give, so get it out. Get it out anytime.
Well, there you have it, people. The end of a lovely stream. I am. What am I going to do? Am I going to write or am I going to lift weights? I can't do both. It's now 4 a.m. Fucking hell, man. Every time my missus comes down, she goes, "You all right?" I go, "I'm a bit tired." She says, "Why don't you try and go to bed early?" I said, "Yeah, I will tonight." And every time this happens. It's been a wonderful stream, though. I had such a good time. Look after yourselves, people. Lots of love. I'll probably see you tomorrow night. I'm going to try and stream tomorrow night. Saturday's me and a 6 year to the day anniversary. That's lovely, isn't it? We're going to the cinema to watch something. Don't matter what. Doesn't matter what. I can't even talk. Look after yourselves. Ta-ta. Hoita!